There really is a wow factor here at King's, and every child has opportunities to find out their passions and interests that they didn't even know they had. Whether you are sporty or musical or into drama, the facilities on offer across the schools are incredible. We have a specialist cricket centre, a new golf facility, sparkling cookery schools, modern DT centres. There really is space to do it all.
stands here. Boy, they love their cricket here in the West Country.
Good afternoon, welcome to the Cooper Associates County Ground Vitality Blast action between in-form Somerset and the Sussex Sharks. The sun is shining, it's a gorgeous afternoon in Taunton. Sam Dalling here, and I'm delighted. I've had the first time this season actually, we've been together. Charlie Taylor, hello Charlie, how are you?
Hi Samuel, yes, very excited. Tonight is a beautiful afternoon / evening here in Taunton, so very excited that we're going to get a, hopefully a big scoring game in T20. You haven't really seen it in the Somerset matches so far. They've been so good, and they've bowled first each time that they've sort of contained all their opposition, so I'm sort of hoping that we might see some higher scores, maybe Somerset batting first, maybe, depending on what happens at the toss. We'll find out.
Oh, we'll find that very shortly. There is, though, I can't take credit for this myself. I think it was Dan Kingdom who's amazing on his stats. I think he said 8 of the last 9 games Somerset bowled first, they've won. That may well include the Sri Lanka development game which you did on Friday, but still that's some records. You can only imagine, even though it's a synthetic pitch and Somerset are in such good nick, you you reckon Tom Abel might bat first?
Well, no. I guess you stick with what's been working well for you. I just want to see some runs, really, lots of sixes. It was carnage. I was here actually. You were on the live stream, weren't you, on Sunday for the Essex Eagles game? I was in the crowd. Had a few friends down, so we came here and watched. And it was great to see Riley Rousseau smashing sixes. Will Smead, who looks like he barely has to move a muscle, you know, is not inconsiderable muscles to hit a ball, and it flies into the top deck of the flats. You know, it absolutely smashes it. So that's what I want to see, is some of those. But you know, still plenty can be scored in what was, in that instance, a fairly low scoring affair. I know it's an 18 over game, but still it was not exactly massive, the run rate that Somerset were tasked with. And just on that Sri Lanka game that I was here for on Friday, they actually batted first in that one, scored 193 I think it was, so plenty of runs actually in that match, but obviously not a competitive game like this one against Sussex today, who pack a bit of a punch, don't they? Sadly without Rizwan, but plenty of talent in that side.
Yeah, I was having a look, because they had a couple of years ago when they got to that 18 Blast final and they lost to Worcestershire. They had that bowling attack. Jofra Archer's out injured, he's still there. We're expecting Tamal Mills to play, very excited to see him. But they lost Chris Jordan over the winter, they've lost Phil Salt. But yeah, if you look at their lineup, Luke Wright and Ravi Bapara, I mean, you and I were saying about, you mentioned it before, it was like England in 2009 World Cup side, but Wright is the top scorer in the Blast ever. I don't think Ravi Bapara can be far behind him. George Garton, exciting left arm quick, made his England debut over the winter. Steve Finn, can he sign for them the last couple of years? He's a brilliant T20 bowler. And then they're overseas. I'm excited to see Obed McCoy in for the first time. It's a bit difficult to keep up with the Sussex overseas at the moment. They've got about 5 on rotation. But they're also, potentially for the last time before he goes off on Australia age duty, is a lad called Josh Felipe, who actually played some club cricket in Taunton 7 or 8 years ago. Him and Tom Abel were very good friends, so it'll be good to see them come up against each other. Josh has since gone on and made a bit of a name for himself in the Big Bash and IPL for Australia.
Interesting to see how they get on. Yeah, it was sort of we're very spoiled for choice, aren't we, on overseas options, these two sides? You mentioned 5 on rotation at Sussex, of course 4 in the Somerset squad as well, and the 2 that have been doing the business in the T20s so far. We've seen Marshall de Lange, who's been really good last couple of games. 4 for 9 he picked up here against Essex from his overs, which was including a maiden as well, which is pretty good going. But also played very well against Hampshire on Monday night. And also, of course, Riley Rousseau, who has been a fantastic signing in the 3 games that he's played for Somerset so far, looking pretty assured and bringing a useful left hand to the crease as well in what's been a fairly right-hand heavy Somerset starting 11. Obviously, Lammonby in there as well with his left-handed batting, but it just adds that little extra, doesn't it? And it creates a bit of problems when you're thinking matchups, which is such an important thing in the modern T20.
Yeah, and Rousseau, it's been so impressive when he came over. I know he wasn't necessarily the big name signing that Somerset have had in previous years, but his quality is undoubted. His record is superb. He's closing in. He's not far short of 6,000 career runs in T20. The way Matt Critchley came on against Essex the other day, first, didn't even have a look. First ball hit for 6, second ball hit for 6. He just set such a tempo. Has already been involved with a couple of big partnerships as well. And Marchand, he gets a lot of stick from Somerset supporters, and I will say this many times, I'm sure, over the course of this summer. A lot of it is unwarranted. Yes, he will go for runs occasionally, but that is part of being a quick bowler in T20. His economy rate across his career is about 8.5, and if you look at this pitch here, to go for just 8.5 here at Taunton is actually quite good in T20, and he's a match winner. That spell, Rousseau and Smead lit up with the bat afterwards, but 4 for 9 in T20.
Well, that's
game done.
That is absolutely exactly that, and if he has one of those spells every few games, then certainly worth a point in the team, isn't it? Because actually, that's what you sort of expect from your batters as well. They're not going to come off every single game. Brilliant if they do, but actually you've got to expect that they'll come off, maybe once every 2 or 3 games at least, you hope. But looks like the toss is going on as we speak. We'll bring you the news from that very shortly, if we can, as the 2 captains go forwards, as we find out what's going on down in the middle.
Already, you must be delighted. Any team changes?
Nah, same team, which is nice. We've got that consistency at the moment. It's obviously been working for us the first few games. We're on a decent little run, but we know we've got to start afresh tonight, and it's a new challenge for us.
Thanks for your time. Go well.
Thank you.
Ravi, if I could grab you as well. The Sussex Sharks captain. Yeah, lost the toss. Are you too perturbed?
We would have had a bowl as well, but it looks a really good wicket. I'm not sure if the dew's going to play a part tonight. I don't think it's going to get to that stage. But we'll wait and see. But we're going to have a good crack.
And a couple of changes for you, one enforced in terms of the overseas department.
That's right, Obed McCoy comes in for his debut, so we all wish him luck and excited to see him go. And Wardy comes back into the team as well.
Enjoy your evening. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Ravi Bapara there after Somerset won the toss and elected to bowl first. Somerset unchanged, Sussex Sharks making a couple of alterations, including a debut for Obed McCoy. So let's get a taster of what we can expect here out in the middle very shortly, in fact in less than half an hour's time.
Well, he's done it again, Tom Abel. He's won the toss and decided, as we talked about, you know, why change something if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So Somerset will be bowling first, and I think fans here will be pretty pleased with that, given how the last few games have gone. Sam.
Yeah, no surprises there to see. Great start for Tom Abel to win the toss, but yeah, I think they were always going to bowl, given the record. I think they're just so comfortable chasing at the moment. Somerset, you looked at that batting lineup, you've only really seen the top 6 so far, and even Lewis Gregory hasn't really been required to do too much. And then you've got Goldsworthy, Green, Van der Merwe in at 9. If we think back to last year, he was batting at 3 to start, wasn't he? Got that injury. Was it a torn pectoral muscle?
Was it side or something? Yeah, it was something, wasn't it?
He was playing and still celebrating in the game. But yeah, to have him coming in at 9 in a T20 game, so I think Somerset, you'd imagine their tactics is all, let's have a go, put whatever you want on the board, because we're confident we can chase it, and why not?
What they've done really well is how tight they've been in the power plays with the ball. Someone like Josh Davey, who has got incredible figures, and you see how he does in the power play and the way he takes wickets, but the reason he takes wickets is because he is so tight, so consistent, that the batters feel that they have to hit out, and causing the mistake off good bowling, and often leads to, you know, we're talking about the Essex game that I was here for, in the crowd, 2 down, you're both openers back in within 4 overs or something, and actually you're already on the front foot, and that means that the game constantly then, Essex were trying to play catch up, and it just caused more and more problems. Same with Hampshire once they'd got through those early couple of wickets, and that's what's been really good for Somerset, is putting them front foot forward so strongly early on.
Well, you'll forgive me if I repeat this a bit later on, but in all 3 games so far, Somerset have taken 2 wickets in the power play. They've taken a wicket, the first wicket has fallen in the second over of the game, so already they're putting sides on the back foot. Those opening partnerships against them, Kent 8, Essex 3, Hampshire 2, so they're just not getting off to the start of the opposition, as you say. Josh Davies been outstanding. It's been brilliant to see Tom Lammonby actually bowling. A few of us have talked watching the county championship games thinking, oh, why hasn't Lammonby bowled? But if you cast your mind back to his first season in T20, he came in as a middle order batter, would often bowl 4 overs in the middle, and they haven't always gone back to him, but it's just that point of difference, the left arm, just a bit like you were saying with the left-handed batter. Something a bit different, change of angle, and so far you see a lot of teams change it up in the power play. You get these one over a spell, I guess it is, I mean, but it's a very small one, and Somerset haven't been doing that actually. They've been starting up a bit like last year when Craigo would often bowl 3 overs first up. Lammonby and Davey have been bowling 2 each. They've got the method, it's working, so why not keep going?
Yeah, I think a bit of a surprise when we saw Lammonby open up early on that first game, but it's working for him, and I was speaking to people who are at Hampshire on Monday night saying that Lammonby actually getting the ball to move a little bit of swing going on there, which, you know, if you can get that in the first over, fantastic to see. But let's talk a bit about the batting as well. So much going on there for Somerset.
Well, yeah, and the converse is true, isn't it? As much as Somerset have been keeping it tight in the power play themselves, Tom Banton and Will Smeed, 2 power hitters. Well, Banton was the breakout in 2019, only Babrazam scored more runs. Smeed in the last couple of years has been outstanding in this competition, the 100 in the PSL as well. They put on 38, 65 and 54, just getting Somerset off to absolute flyers in that power play. They've never lost more than 1 wicket in the 3 games so far. And I believe, I mean, as you've talked about Will Smeed's muscles and his ability to hit the ball, Tom Banton maybe doesn't look as physically imposing, but he can hit a long ball. And I believe they've had a bit of a contest in recent weeks with the guys from We Cricket coming in. So let's have a look now at Banton versus Smeed.
Are you playing on Saturdays, club cricket?
We're trying to, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Where do you guys live?
Down in Sussex.
Okay.
In the dizzy heights of Div 6 and 7.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a good standard.
Is it?
Very good, yeah. I reckon you might get a few. Yeah, I reckon you do all right.
We've made it. We're at Somerset again. So 4 months ago, wasn't it, we were here? We did such a good job. They've invited us back. They've put us on the LED boards. They've put us on the big screen.
Nice blue as well.
And they've said, do you fancy coming down and trying to hit sixes with Will Smead and Tom Banton? We went 24 brand new cricket rocks, which I think is going to last about 24 cricket balls. And they're going to be gone.
Oh my word.
If you want to come down Somerset, the tickets are on sale for the T20 Blast.
Yeah, do that.
Come down. We won't be playing unless this is really successful.
Yeah, Banton's up first. He said no flat ones as he walked in.
No flat ones that you're well known for.
Get down. He did say no flat ones, didn't he? How far's that going, do you reckon?
Oh, Bob.
Okay.
Oh.
Nice, Bob. But it's so broke.
That's 6. That was alright. We'll give it, yeah, not bad. Yeah, you got a few.
They were good feeds. Come on then, Smeedy.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Tightest t-shirts on the planet. Look at him. It's
I
embarrassing.
didn't choose the size.
You asked for smaller sizes. Get on with it.
Ah. Oh my life. Shot.
How's your risk assessment on?
Shot.
We're at Somerset and Dan having a bat.
Backstop. Watch it.
Oh, blinked.
So I'll go home now then.
Oh no.
Oh,
My bad.
Shot! Lost!
Catch him. Oh, that's going. Oh, that's a good strike. Oh, 4 runs.
Oh no.
Very high. Is it time for me to have a bowl?
I'm not getting a contract here, am I?
No, I hope not.
Thanks. Right, let's go. I'm going to try it into Morrison's.
There's a big wind blowing to the flats as well.
No, I can't hit it there. If I hit someone, I won't be able to live with myself. Well, I'll block it back.
Oh, got him! 3 slips. Right, let's see how far this goes then. Oh, that's...
I'll take one, take one. No, that's out of the ground.
Oh, that's gone. These aren't going to last very long, are they? That's gone for 6 as well. How's he done that? That's gone miles. Ping.
Imagine facing this bowling.
Good. Ah! Oh my god. That's ridiculous. Please tell me that's on. Yes.
Ah! No!
Oh, that's out.
I'll go left-handed for a few. And you get to give massive sellies if you get me out.
Oh, I don't like bowling to lefties. Oh. Oh. Come on, Tom. Oh.
Oh, watch out, watch out. You're bowling nicely.
Oh. 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 Oh my word. Oh.
Bold, bold, bold. These aren't that bad. There's a place for this in the 100.
Ah. Oh. Ah.
But Tom Banton's hit cares for about 3 sixes that went about 100+ meters. So
yeah, longest one we reckon is about there.
And what is that?
105.39.
Not gonna lie, that was all epic.
What, that left-handed?
No, just yeah, that was epic as well. They're nice leggies, they are.
Yeah, they're nice to hit. Yeah.
Had too much bread ball. I needed that. It was good fun.
Oh, too short. Ah. Right, pitch it up. Ah! Oh, that's... Shot, Will. Wow, okay. One out the ground. Oh, well bowled. Well bowled. Oh, well fielded. Yeah, finish on that one.
We cricket meeting up with Will Smead and Tom Banton. You just see that power, don't you? The way they work on that. Especially someone like Smead, who's coming into this side, hasn't played any championship cricket. He's been working hard on his white ball skills. Just the power in some of those shots. That is scary watching it.
You just wonder with someone like him where the ceiling is. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he could hit a ball. Even he couldn't hit a ball as high as his ceiling as a cricketer.
Yeah, yeah.
Because he's just phenomenal. He's so young, still so young. But it's already. What did he get? He got out in the 90s twice, didn't he? In the
I think he
PSL
got out for 99 twice, didn't he, in the PSL? Just, you know, great talent, and fantastic to see him here in Somerset colours. Someone who's come through the Somerset system to get here, another talent that the county and the Southwest can be very proud of, and we're looking forward to seeing him back. But it won't be straight away, because Somerset, if you are just joining us, have won the toss and chosen to bowl first, like they have in all the other games where they've won the toss in all those games too. So Tom Abel knows what the plan is here, and the team work together really well. We've seen sort of an effort from everyone. I think it was one game, wasn't there, where we saw 7 bowlers, and the 7 who bowled, then it was the other 4 who got all the runs, and that just, you just look at that and you think, well, nice setup for Somerset. That's almost a perfect game, isn't it?
Yeah, it's beautifully. I was going to say balancing. We've got so many options. Almost everyone can do both skill sets, and those that can't, like the outstanding one, Smead doesn't bowl, but knocking 6s out of the park. It's interesting. It is a belter of a pitch out there. I think it's the same one we had on Sunday, so a synthetic one. Essex were well below par. I mean, 200 is a par score here, and I was having a look back. Sussex have only reached 200 once in their last 46 T20 games. Wow. That was against Somerset in the quarter-final in 2018, but we'll gloss over that. But yeah, I mean, it looks like a 200 pitch, doesn't it?
It does. You've got to say it is a really good pitch, and with that synthetic, for people who haven't seen it before, that grass, that fake grass, is sewn into the pitch and it keeps it together better, so you don't get that break up. It just stays nice and flat, and it should offer up. If Sussex get going, because it will all depend on the score they make, but if they get going, as you say, could see a high-scoring game tonight.
Absolutely. Quick word of warning, we should say we are aware that this afternoon the Lancashire live streaming their game with Derbyshire Falcons did go down. There have been issues in the past. I won't go into the details, but false piracy claims, and then the streams get taken down on YouTube immediately without any checking. So we should just going to say, if that does happen to us, we're hoping it doesn't, don't fear. If you head over to Somerset's official Facebook page, the stream there should still be going strong. So if that's just a word of warning if you're watching on YouTube. And as a further backup, say you head to the Somerset Facebook page first, but if not, ecb.co.uk should have the game, so there should be no reason why you can't join us for the entirety of this Somerset versus Sussex Sharks game.
Reminder then, Somerset unchanged from the 3 games that they've played already. Why would you try and fix something that's working so nicely together? So we've got plenty going on there. Banton and Smead opening up with Riley Rousseau, who's played really well, one of the overseas players, coming in at number 3. Worked nicely with Tom Abel too. Those two complement each other well. Tom Lammerby played well against Hampshire, seeing Somerset pretty much home. Didn't quite make it all the way, but made the game pretty much unlosable in his innings that he played. Gregory, Goldsworthy and Green, the 3 Gs making up 6, 7 and 8. And then it's Van der Merwe, De Lange and Davey, the 9, 10 and 11. And it seems bizarre to mention Rollo van der Merwe and Marshall De Lange as a 9 and a 10. I mean, even Josh Davey at 11 is quite a incredible thing, really. So really good stuff from Somerset. That's how they line up. There are a couple of changes to talk about in the Sussex side, so we'll talk about that in a moment. We'll get that for you, but just to say that Rizwan is not part of this setup for Sussex. Here we go. We've got Luke Wright, Josh Felipe. Sam, just run us through Josh Felipe again. This is a name who we will come to know pretty well in T20 cricket.
Yeah, absolutely. Sydney Sixers stars, won the Big Bash with them, but he started his career in the early days over playing at Taunton Cricket Club at Taunton Vale. Had a season over here 7 or 8 years ago. There he is, the man. Peter Trago has just walked into the box looking absolutely resplendent. So yeah, he'll go off. I think it's Australia. Is he on Australia A duty or Australia duty? They've got a dual tour in Pakistan, but exciting player to watch. Felipe.
Yeah, certainly is. Then Allsop Rawlins, a name again, is someone who's making his way in the game, looking really good. Someone who's probably on the way out of the game, although still a fantastic player. Ravi Bopara captaining the Sussex side tonight. George Garton, really great to see him in action, a bowler who brings a lot of interest to the game. Harrison Ward, brilliant name. He is someone else who's been brought into this match. What do we know about Harrison Ward? This is an early game in his career. So.
Yeah, it is, other than a spectacular name, which should get some kind of Star Wars theme tune, or perhaps even Indiana Jones. But yeah, young player. He's played a couple of games already for Sussex. He's been in and out of the side. They've changed it up a little bit, very much early parts of his career. I mean, Sussex have got a lot of young players coming through. He's only 22. I mean, his record, it's not really anything to speak of yet, but he hasn't really had the opportunity. High score of just 22 so far. But he broke into the side last year as well. Last year, made his debut against Middlesex at Lords. What a great place for a young player. So one of many, many academy youngsters for Sussex, as is the next man on the list, Archie Lennon.
Yeah.
Stephen Finn, and everyone will be familiar with. Tamal Mills back in that England World Cup T20 side. I'm excited to see Obed McCoy, the West Indian left-arm.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be very exciting to see that. We are going to be getting the latest from Paul Tweddle very shortly, a coach involved here with the T20 side. He's going to be giving us the lowdown just before the match starts. He is just waiting to be interviewed while Stumpy makes his way around the ground. Got lots of fans, Stumpy, people taking photographs of him. He's got to be careful. I hope he's not wearing studs, because he's got to be careful on the covers. He's going to go over to do selfies with the fans as they ready for this game. It looks like it's going to be a lovely evening here in Taunton. So looking forward to this one. Let's join Rob, who is going to be speaking to Paul Tweddle on the pitch side.
For Somerset County Cricket Club. Paul, 100% record so far. How's confidence in the camp?
Yeah, I think really high. The boys playing a great brand of cricket, and they're loving the environment. I think they've got loads of energy, as you can see from football in pre-match.
As a big part of the fielding set up here, how excited were you to see that relay effort between Will Smead and, of course, Tom Lammonby down at the Aegea spot?
Yeah, it did definitely got me going, definitely. But those things sort of happen more and more now, so I think, yeah, these guys practice it a lot, and you come to expect that sort of thing now, but all the same, a great bit of work.
The players seem very calm chasing at the moment. That's a real pattern of it.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's something to be said for having runs on the board and then being able to pace a chase from there. I think that's really important.
Any tips for some of our young supporters in the crowd tonight who are working on their fielding, particularly if there's a big six coming their way from Riley Russo?
Yeah, definitely strong hands. Make sure your hands are strong, ready. Soft and weak hands, definitely finger breakers incoming. So, yeah.
You've been here 7 years. Have you noticed, like, even a change in that time, the improvement in kind of fielding standards around the country?
Yeah, definitely. I think with the advent of S&C and things like that, the standard of fitness and athleticism is just improving standards year on year, and young players that are able to kind of see that on the live stream are able to emulate it, so standards improve naturally just because of that.
And just finally, what do you make of the atmosphere? I've been in the fan village. I don't know if you've had a chance to sample it. Probably not. You've been pretty busy, but it's a glorious evening in the bank holiday sunshine. You must love it down here.
We are 100% very, very lucky to have this amount of support with us. We're very, very lucky. The boys absolutely love it. So, yeah, long may it continue.
Paul, thanks ever so much. Enjoy the Saturday night.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Paul Tweddle, the assistant coach and fielding coach here at Somerset, ahead of tonight's game with Sussex Sharks in the Vitality Blast. We've got blast off very shortly, 10 minutes time. Let's get ready.
Thanks, Robin, and Paul Tweddle as well, first team coach, who has taken us through some of the great fielding that we've seen in this competition. In particular, we ought to point out that fantastic catch which was shared between Lammonby. In the end, it was Smead who took the catch, but Lammonby diving over the boundary. Quite an incredible sight. I don't know if you managed to catch it, Sam.
Yeah, I saw it. I have seen some scorecards as well. There are some that just say caught Smead, which I think Will Smead would be very happy with, but there are some that say Court Lammonby/Smead. I think that is now starting to become an official thing, and rightly so. I mean, the level of fielding, even a decade ago, you've got Max Waller, for example, has always been some say standout fielder. I mean, he still is a standout fielder, but he was so much better than the rest that you would point to him. But now the level across 1 to 11 is absolutely fantastic. It doesn't surprise you that a catch like that is taken these days.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more, and it is well worth checking out if you haven't seen it already. Plenty of replays and slow-mos on the Somerset Twitter stream at Somerset CCC. You can find everything that you need there, some replays from previous games. But we are nearing the start of this one now. Sussex Sharks, who have got off to a mixed start in this competition. They've played 3 games, just one against the Kent Spitfires. Former champions having a really tough start to this competition. And they've lost the other 2, Sussex. But Somerset, on the other hand, looking for 4 in 4, which would be quite an incredible start. Not something that we've seen for a long time, and actually a very difficult thing to achieve, that consistency in T20.
It's been the first time ever, I think. I think they have won their first 4. Again, thank you to Dan England, but there were a couple of rained-off games in between. But yeah, 4 from 4 we won. And Somerset have won 30. If you take that Sri Lanka game out, which I do, Somerset have won 13 of their last 16 completed games. They didn't play Sussex last year. They went all the way down there and it was pouring rain. They checked into the hotel and they almost were ready to play, but they were rained off. Now, for the first time this afternoon, he's been on duty. We saw him strolling out to do his pitch report. I think he's been down with Tim Cronivard as well in the long room. Peter Trigo, how are you, sir?
I'm very good, Sam. And Charlie.
Hello.
Hello,
good
mate.
To see you.
The big hitters are in.
Yeah.
Awesome to see. No, the club have been working me hard this afternoon. I've been doing the pitch report in the Colin Atkinson Pavilion with Tim Grunewald, showing him off to the spectators. Yeah, it's been a lovely afternoon so far, and what a beautiful day for it.
You've still got a permanent bruise that Tim Grunewald used to give you in the nets.
Yeah, well, in fact, it came up when I saw him. He shook my hand and it appeared in my inner thigh.
Muscle memory.
He was the master of the nip backer, was Tim Grunewald, and one of the best weathermen on the county circuit. He loved a bit of rain, but we're not going to get any of that tonight.
No, it's absolutely glorious. Unlike Sunday, where I felt for Essex a little bit, so much as one can. I mean, it always disadvantages the side batting when they lose overs, and suddenly, like, right, you've lost a couple of overs, let's go and press the random number generator and set Somerset a total to win. But no danger of that whatsoever. What's the pitch looking like? It's the same one as Sunday?
Yeah, same pitch. It's a hybrid pitch, and if anything, it looks slightly whiter. It looks absolutely as pristine a pitch as you can get, apart from the marks that the bowlers have made and the scrapes for people taking their guards. It is absolutely pristine in the middle. So I wouldn't be surprised to see a score in excess of 200 first innings tonight.
Well, you were down there not so long ago, and we're going to flip to that video right now.
Good evening and welcome to the Cooper Associates County Ground. The sun is shining, and I've got to be honest, I'm licking my lips to bat on this pitch tonight. It is unbelievable. It's the same hybrid pitch that we played Essex on the other day. During that game when the Essex players got going, it looked like a very high scoring pitch, and the way that Riley Rousseau and in particular Will Smead started, this is a belter. I've noticed from the other night it's even whiter than it was the other day, less green grass. I think this is an absolute belter. Expect to see 200 runs in the first innings.
Oh, there he is, Peter Trago, running around all afternoon. I can have a bit of a sweat on. What do you reckon? Tom Abel won the toss, elected to bowl. We were saying Somerset have won 8 of their last 9. They've been bowling first. No surprises there?
No real surprises. I mean, it's literally a flip of the coin. The problem is when you're batting well, you can chase anything at Taunton. Bant alluded it to me on the first pitch report we did against Essex. He said you give yourself a little bit of time and you can chase 10 to 15 runs and over towards the back end. So if you set the platform, you bat well in the power play. I mean, anything's possible. I mean, I know the pitch has changed since I played here, but you know, 200, you're never that intimidated by 200. Anywhere else in the country, it'd be maybe apart from Trent Bridge, you'd think, we're up against it here. But at Taunton, you get yourself in. It's so you hit the angles, the pockets of the pitch are quite small, and straight is just feels like a little half a pitching wedge. So no surprise at all to see Tom Abel, who I've predicted today to be the top scorer.
interesting stuff. Okay, thanks, Pete. What was it about Tom Abell that made you think this is the pitch for him?
Just the way that he's been playing, especially the first game at Canterbury. I know everyone, and rightly so, is singing Riley Rousseau's praises, but the way he came in, he looks really clinical with his movements. He's got an amazing array of shots, and I think on a day like today, someone as incredibly fit and strong as Tom Abell will shine on a day when it's quite hot out there. So I don't know, something about this pitch and the whole feel of the day just shouts Tom Abell for me.
About Sussex. A bit of change in their side in recent years. Chris Jordan's not there, Phil Salt's there, but a couple of guys, I mean, they're still dangerous. A couple of guys you'll know quite well. Luke Wright, who's the leading run scorer in the Blast ever, and Ravi Bapara, who's up there in the runs, but also up there in the wickets too. So they're a dangerous side. Yeah,
Luke Wright is a fantastic player. If he picks up length well, he's very, very dangerous. He pulls off just back of a length. If he gets that shot into his armoury, he's very dangerous. Josh Felipe, I've seen a bit of him in different competitions. He looks a very high quality player. Ravi Bapara might be a bit of a dark horse for this game in particular, because I feel like he hasn't really fired for Sussex yet. And it's only a matter of time. As a player of his quality, there's only a matter of time before he's going to do something special. We hope it's not tonight, but yeah, any lineup with Ravi Bapara in is a good team. But I think your eyes are instantly drawn, or my eyes are drawn as a number 3 batsman, to Stephen Finn, Tamal Mills. Pace, bounce, can go one or two ways. It can sometimes fly, but it's always a bit uncomfortable facing someone like Tamal Mills.
Lots of variation there as well, isn't it? Finn's worked hard on that. Mills has got his slower ball, so you've always got to be on your toes, because not everything's going to be pace on, you'd think, as well, from those two.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, there's an intimidation factor when you've got someone bowling above 90 miles an hour, but all of their bowlers don't just have pace. They're very canny bowlers now. Lots of slow balls. I mean, Tamal Mills' slow ball in particular is very impressive. The back of the hand slow ball, he goes from 92 miles an hour to 65 miles an hour. That's an amazingly, it's a massive drop off. Garton looks to hammer the middle of the pitch, bowls a lot of the bounces. I think, though, if someone gets in against someone bowling with that tactic, they could end up getting a tour of the River Tone.
Okay. Ducks, look out then, that's what you're saying. Any canoeists out there today?
A red warning to the canoe club.
Okay. They are really based just down the river here, aren't they? So quite often you see that stretch of river with canoeists, kayakers in the river. But we are ready pretty much to start, and no surprise, it will be Tom Lammonby to get us going, as it has been with his left arm bowling over the last few games. It's worked well for Somerset. Let's see what he can manage this time. It's Sussex Sharks, the visitors here at Taunton in the T20 Blast. Somerset looking to make it 4 wins from their first 4 games, and we're set for a beautiful evening here in Taunton.
Josh Felipe then going to face it up to the first ball of Lammonby's left arm. Switches it out to the defender there, but he just does the fielding on the cover, as Peter was saying. Josh Felipe, very exciting players. Kind of torn the big bash up the last couple of years for Sydney Sixers, got himself into that Australia side. I'm sure they put it all down to his spell at Taunton Cricket Club. I know Tom Abell would love to get Josh's wicket early. Not really got going yet in the 3 knocks he's had so far.
He's had a couple of bright starts for the Royal Challengers Bangalore as well when he's played in the IPL. He seems to be a high quality player. I think this pitch will suit him as well, with it probably having a bit of an Australian vibe to it. Hard, bouncy, that hybrid texture definitely makes the ball sort of bounce through. A little bit unlike an English wicket, but beautiful to bat on if you like to hit the ball on the top of his bounce.
Beats the outside edge there, Tom Lammonby. Like Felipe just trying to run it down to third man, past third man.
Been interesting seeing Lammers take the new ball. Like, so many games into the season, we haven't seen him bowl hardly at all in the Championship, and all of a sudden leading the attack with the white ball. What are your thoughts on that, chaps?
Bit of variation. He's done so well, as you say. Just bowled a couple of overs. Bottom edge there. He bowled the first 2 overs of each inning. Somerset picked up early wickets. Him and Josh Davies spearheading that attack have been fantastic.
When I saw it the first time, I thought, well, this is just trying to squeeze an over out of him just before the batters get set. But actually, I've been watching the last few games. It's more than that, isn't it? Actually, he's there because he's using his skills. And we heard on from the Hampshire game at the Ageas Bowl that he was actually getting a bit of movement very early on in the game.
Yeah, I was hoping one of you were gonna say that actually, because one thing that I've noticed from the time that I spent with Lammers in the squad, he looks like he's really changed the way he goes about his business bowling wise. I always felt that he was quite floaty and bowled quite full, bowled a lot of half volleys, but I've noticed in these 3 games he's really run in and hit the pitch. I will have to collar my old partner in crime, Steve Kirby, and ask what he's been doing, because it's certainly working. He's looking in fantastic form.
Gets under edge there, Josh Felipe. Tom Lammonby, very rare in Vitality Blast cricket. He started with a maiden, 1 over gone. Sussex Sharks yet to get a run on the board.
Just what we spoke about, Sam, about that early pressure, consistency. Sussex will feel like they're behind the 8 ball now, won't they? That they've got to hit out. And who's coming on? Mr. Consistent, Josh Davey. This is a tough old start that Somerset have worked out here with Tom Lammonby one end, Davey the other. It really does put pressure on these opening batters.
Yeah. Twice so far, Josh Davies taking the wicket in his first over of the game, bowling the second over. So Somerset, they've just been so good in the power plays so far. 30 for 2, 50 for 2, and 38 for 3 is what they've conceded. Very good.
I think that's one of the modern cricket most embarrassing things to play at a maiden in T20 these days, especially in the power play. He will have a whole heap of pressure on his shoulders.
Well, it's Luke Wright then, facing up for the first time. It's full, it takes a bit of an edge, but it will run away for 4. So looking to play it down, Glancy really down the leg side, picking that gap. The first runs have been added to the total. It's a little bit wayward there from Josh Davey, wasn't quite where he wanted it to go.
You can see straight away Luke Wright is looking to hit straight back over his head. Intent there, thick inside edge, maybe marginally unlucky, but sliding into the pads, as you say. Can't bowl to Luke Wright onto his pads, that is.
In the air, down the ground, 6 into the Marcus Trescothick pavilion. He's really got hold of that one using his feet, Luke Wright. Lovely shot.
Yeah, dangerous player. He likes playing against Somerset too. He's the leading scorer in games between the 2 sides. Before this, what's he got? 10 already, so he's now on 3-5-3 and touch under 40s. His strike rate's 155. So he enjoys playing against Somerset. I mean, he enjoys playing against everyone in his record, closing in on 8,500 T20 runs.
4, 6, last 2 balls. And that one does beat the bat. Good ball, Josh Davey. Going right through Luke Wright, who's looking aggressive again.
Luke Wright, the last pick in the 100-ball auction, looks like he should have been the first pick in the 100-ball auction right now, but Josh Davies, nip-backer, he's definitely from the school of Tim Grunewald, loves nipping the ball. He has a real good knack of, even on a flat pitch, getting a little bit of movement. Always does so well, Josh Davey, with a nice hard cricket ball.
Again, a chance for a catch, and it's taken! Again, Josh Davey taking a wicket in his first over. Played straight to point, trying to be aggressive, Luke Wright. And Somerset will be thrilled to see the back of him because he looked in ominous form. Well played, Josh Davey, picking up that wicket you talked about, Sam.
Oh, 3rd time he's done it. 3rd game in a row. Josh Davies picked up a wicket in the 2nd over of the game. Goes for 10, but actually 10 for 1. Luke Wright, danger man. We talked about how quickly he can score runs, but got to go. And Josh Davey has come from nowhere to be one of the, well, perhaps that's a bit unfair, from nowhere, but he's an outstanding T20 bowler these days.
Yeah, Van der Merwe wasn't going to drop that straight at him. Nice when that happens, Pete, in the field. Don't have to move too much, you just put your hands out. Instinctive almost.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it probably almost done him for lack of pace, if anything. Really came off the stickers of the bat, just getting a bit of extra banks there, Josh Davey. But yeah, exactly right. You know, Josh Davey is, if it happens 3 times, it's not a fluke. You know, I believe, Sam, you've probably been a bit harsh on there, wasn't he? The leading World Cup wicket taker one year, wasn't he, for Scotland? Even though I have challenged Josh a few times, I'm not sure he's ever even been to Scotland, but that's by the by. Fantastic start.
Well, what could Davey do now? It'll be Allsop, the new man, and it's going to be played out quite full from Davey, flicked through deep mid-wicket for 4 runs. Nice shot to get off the mark for Allsop.
Yeah, dangerous player, Tom Allsop, on the season-long loan from Hampshire. Struggled to get into their side last year, but 65 off just 30 balls, not out. Started against Kent in Sussex's victory. A man in good touch, and he showed it with that shot.
A bit of a danger man, Somerset, too, and you see Luke Wright leave, but Tom Allsop come out. Certainly plenty of talent in this Sussex side. using his feet there, and that will go down the leg side, and it will be given a wide. There was a big old move over, but I think Davey just pushing it too far down the leg. So another ball to come from Davey in this over. 11 for 1. Score say 11 for 1, but that can't be right because we've seen 2 4s and 6. Did that one definitely go for 4 earlier on? I'm sure I saw it go over the road. 14, there 14, we go. 14
15,
for 1.
Should be 15.
I was going to say, bang on the window next door.
15 for 1 now. The scorers getting the scorecard up to date. Davey in played pretty much straight forwards to mid-on. There'll be a throw maybe at the stumps, but not picked up cleanly by Tom Lammonby. And we come through just for a single. It's the end of that over now. Let's head down to Rob at the ground.
All Stars cricket. Who's your favourite players, guys?
Chris Tremlett, Joe Root.
Nice. None of them Somerset players, but all brilliant players, and I certainly wouldn't mess with Chris Tremlett. And you've got some lamb kebabs as well. You having a great night?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Enjoy it.
Lammonby back into staying on. He's going for the second over. Brave move, but seems to have worked. Seems to look, after 2, 3, 4 games, you see a real sort of captaincy pattern, don't you? He likes to try and get double overs out of his bowlers for those first 4 at least, which is a bit awkward as Alsop chops a back of a length ball, sort of bounces it over point in the gully sort of area down to the boundary for 4. Not the start to the over Lammonby would have wanted. Also certainly looks like he's in the mood to pick up from Luke Wright straight away. Lammonby's going to be testing this over, I think. Good come back from Lammers, bashing it in hard length into that hip. Get one out of that. It's a massive boundary out on that leg side from this end.
It was interesting that, wasn't it? 2 men outside the ring in the first 6 overs, and they put them both back and said, right, fine, if you want to take that shot on, good luck to you. It's a massive hit, so if you go early, you're risking the catch.
Yeah, there was a time where that was a good plan, but since the ramp and all the other shots that all these batters play, it's really hard to narrow down one side of the pitch as Felipe pulls off back of a length out to deep square leg. Well fielded down there by, I believe, Josh Davies, sliding round. And run off Van der Merwe, throwing back into Tom Banton. Yeah, it's certainly got to that stage of the power play. I think, again, when you assess a wicket that looks so flat, Sussex will be very aware that they're going to need at least 10 and over in this period as Felipe flicks the ball off of his thigh, and it's out of here. 6 runs. Tom Lammonby's just got his length a bit wrong. His line straight onto leg stump. Josh Felipe has not missed out.
Yeah, second 6 of the game, and so we haven't mentioned it yet, but courtesy of our friends at Trade Nation, that is the second £50 that will be going to HD Living, a Huntington's disease charity based in Plymouth and Manchester. Thanks very much to Rudolph van der Merwe for making the pick a little bit earlier on, and thank you as ever to Trade Nation. £50 for every 6, £150 for every ball that goes out of the ground. Single there. Felipe has been a little bit relieved. Having played out of a maiden, now it's only 6 balls, but in a T20 game when you're the overseas out there opening up on a good pitch to play out a maiden.
That was coming into bowl to Tom Alsop, drives down the ground. Lewis Gregory running round to do the fielding. He's finished off a tidy over for the Sussex perspective, a little bit expensive, but a couple of good shots. 31 for 1 off 3 overs, which I would say is probably around about par.
Yeah, you said about 200 be round par, so 10 and over. Yeah, absolutely, they're on track. Although in the power play, you sort of look to get ahead a bit, don't you? As maybe the middle overs just a bit of a squeeze on. We'll see a change though from the Marcus Trescothick Pavilion end. Only 1 over given to Davey to start off with. It'll be Lewis Gregory who will continue.
Well, it's interesting this. First time they've changed it up. It's been Lammonby Davey all the way through. And I wonder, Sussex will have looked at that. They'll have the same numbers in front of me and probably even more detailed. So they'll have gone, well, we're expecting Josh Davey. So Tom Abel thrown a little bit of a curveball, brought Lewis Gregory up.
Yeah, can't stick with the same every single time. So they will work you out. They look so carefully, don't they? Every single bowler, every single batter insides these days, looking at where the runs can be scored, what you're looking to do in each one.
I think that is one of the dangers, and part of the decision making is Josh Davey and Lammonby would bowl at a very similar sort of pace. So if, like Luke Wright showed in his first few balls and Alsop has shown in his first few balls, he really does sort of like that pace. He's being, he's coming out of his crease. That margin for error for the bowler is tiny. Interesting, Lewis Gregory started with a slower ball there, but Lewis Gregory has got up his sleeve a little bit of a quicker bounce and potentially surprise the Sussex batters. Lewis Gregory, Felipe, another off-cut, a slow ball straight through him. 2 bounces through to Tom Banton. Not a bad way to go from a bowling perspective on such a good wicket. Keep the variations, don't be predictable, and I think that's probably, without criticising, the Lammonby Davey combination was a little bit samey from a pace perspective. So interesting to see what Lewis Gregory backs up with this ball. Full pace, thuds into the pad. Well bowled, Lewis Gregory. All that experience shining through.
Yeah, he just tried to give himself some room there, Josh Felipe, with that shorter cover boundary. Gregory followed him.
Yeah, excellent stuff this from Lewis Gregory. Great servant to the club in all formats, but really worked hard at these variations. And as Pete said, 3 balls, 3 different types of ball that the batters have got to work out now. Who knows what's coming up on the 4th one?
Alsop goes to the slog sweep. He moved the cross. That's huge. That's gone deep, deep into the Somerset stand. Not much Lewis Gregory could do about that. Alsop lined it up and hit through the ball.
I mean, all the coaches would go mad there. Don't line up the short boundary. You'll make the mistake, but he's down on one knee, stepped across to the offside swat, and I think that's the dangerous thing for left-right hand combination. You've always got a small boundary every over.
Shorter ball from Gregory. It's in the air, but safe towards Tom Lammonby. Picks it up at mid-wicket. There is just a single and added on to that one. So coming back well there, Gregory. Crowd tonight on is essentially a Friday night, even though we're midweek. We've got 2 bank holidays coming up on a Thursday and Friday, which is a bit unusual. So slightly Friday vibes here. Wednesday. It's again in the air and will land safely again and all the way for 4. It's again, a bit expensive towards the end of his over here, Lewis Gregory. Nice looking shot though, good pick up.
Yeah, just starting to get going, aren't they? Sussex Sharks. It's easy to forget. Starting with a maiden from Tom Lammonby. 16, 15 and 12 off the next 3 overs.
Yeah, not easy being a bowler here at Taunton. I think there's almost all the bowlers doing the old turtle's head, trying to not be spotted by the captain for this power play. Looking for that 7th and onwards overs. But Rolf van der Merwe, no surprise, he's put his hand up to bowl this over. But I've got to be honest, the bowlers really looking to come pretty hard this over. But Rolf so good at getting that breakthrough, that valuable wicket. Hopefully he can do the same tonight. He's fully tested. Good pitch with a short boundary straight.
So much experience. 37 now. This is his 73rd game. Career economy rate just 7.2. 20 over cricket across a span. 242 wickets. It's quite some going. Onto the back foot then also. Good work from Tom Lammonby. They think about a second, but sensibly turn it down. Tom Lammonby's got a good arm there. He's quick across the ground. Just a single there to start with.
Yeah, good man to have in the lineup, Rolf van der Merwe. He's always the go-to guy when things are going wrong. I think there is a case of no matter who you bowl in a power play on a good wicket set batsman, you're going to go for around about 10 runs. You know, you just need to try and limit that as much as possible. To be honest, anything under sort of 14 probably isn't a car crash at this stage. It's such a hard place to bowl inside the power play, which is why, you know, having someone like Ralph is brilliant. And when we look back at certain bowlers that have bowled, people like Alfonso Thomas, their record bowling 2 at the top, 2 at the death, are incredible, really, when you take into account this is the world's highest scoring ground in T20.
Thomas loved that at the death, didn't he? Absolute machine.
Felipe goes big, big towards the river stand. Is it over it? I think it might well be over the river stand. Out the ground, 150 quid for charity, but more important for the Sussex Sharks. I think that's 50 up, 51 for 1. Josh Felipe, who you may recall, started by playing out a maiden, really starting to motor now. Rudolf van der Merwe has something to think about.
That's absolutely huge. You said at the start that the river tone might come into play here. Well, that's the first one, isn't it? Over the river stand. I'm sure that probably made its way into the river. It's literally directly behind the stand for anyone who hasn't been here.
Feels like a little bit of a gamble, this. Bowling a spinner inside the power play, unless it's one of the first 2 overs. Pretty high risk. Let's hope it is relatively damageless for the next 4 balls.
Swept away, and Lewis Goldsworthy does really well there because he was at short backward square leg. If it gets past him, is 4. There's no cover. There's a man out of what used to traditionally called cow corner and mid-on, but no cover there.
What's changed?
To a single house trick.
What's changed?
There must be some technical name for it these days. But yeah, to me it will always be that corner when you find your beef. Left-hander rolls up on strike. Turns himself into a right-hander though, and van der Merwe is down on his knees. He lives and breathes every ball. So I think it might have been a drop catch. It was that's harsh on Tom Banton because it was a very tough one. Tom Alsop has turned himself around into a right-hander, potentially got an edge. And with Banton, yeah, they either stick or they don't. I'm not sure. I'm sure Rudolf van der Merwe will appreciate the effort and the saved 4 runs.
Take a dot ball, you definitely take 2 dot balls in a row at the end of the over. Good stuff. Again, looking to sweep there. Alsop trying to find that gap. But in the end, Rudolf van der Merwe coming back nicely in that one, 52 for 1. So how many was that off the over? It was something like, was it 8 in the end? What were they before? 44? Yeah, so 8 runs from the over. And I think you'd be very happy. We were talking, Pete, weren't you? About 14 you sort of take, so 8 really from your spinner. Useful stuff.
Yeah, he's done really well, but it was interesting, really interesting actually, the way that the Sussex batters had just belted him back over his head for 6 and then tried to go sideways. You know, sometimes there's a case of if it ain't broken, don't fix it sort of thing. So really interesting to see that they've changed tactic there, and I feel like they've missed out. Well bowled Rudolf van der Merwe though, as Ben Green's into the attack. Ben Green has really made himself into a high quality cricketer. He bowls the uncomfortable overs, he does some of the death hitting at the back, but he's really starting to find his feet as a Somerset player.
Yeah, superb. Skipping the Royal London Cup side really well last year. Don't forget, either if you're at home or if you're in the Cooper Associates County Ground, hashtag streaming style. Get your pictures in. We'll pick some winners in the second innings. We want to see how you're watching the game, and you could win a Somerset shirt.
Not really getting hold of that as he came down the pitch was Alsop. Just goes to Marchant de Lange, someone Somerset have been holding back in these T20s, not using him in the power play, but towards the end of the innings, coming on blistering pace, picking up 4 for 9 against Essex. Useful someone to have up your sleeve for Tom Abel. Green again, Fuller, and again, really got hold of that. Felipe's had to just dig it a little bit, managed to pick up a run from it. Again, Marchant de Lange coming around to field.
Looks like Ben Green's going to try and get out of this particular power play with 6 Yorkers. If he can, that would be a great effort. He started well so far. 3 balls gone, no boundaries as yet. As he comes round the wicket to Alsop. Into the back of a length. And dispatched back over his head for 6. That's the one problem. There is such a small margin for error here at Taunton. He's gone away from the Yorker plan that was working. He's double guessed himself and he's been belted back over Josh Davey for 6. Come on, Ben Green, find that Yorker again. He receives a man from Machant de Lange. He can certainly bowl a Yorker, but potentially a bit later on in the innings. Ben Green coming into bowl to Alsop, who moves across to off stump and slashes it straight to Tom Lambert, being extra cover. Really tidy bit of fielding. Yeah, really, Tom Abel has got a lot of tools up in his toolbox. Machant de Lange coming on a bit later. He did such an amazing job. He gets a little bit of criticism because he can go for some runs at his high pace, but what were his figures the other day, Sam? 4 for 7, 4 for 8? 4 for 9. Yeah. I mean, there's not many bowlers that can do that.
Oh, he's
and
done
also
well.
not many bowlers that can field like that with hands like shovels. Well done, Machant de Lange, fully committed to the cause. Hopefully we'll be seeing him bowl some of those toe-crushing, foot-wedge whacking Yorkers later on.
Yeah, he's wonderful in the field. Very, very quick around the ground for a big man. End of the power play then. It's Sussex's best power play of the season so far. Relatively short sample size. They did get 54 against the North, but lost 2 wickets. They've gone well here. 62 for 1, having started Josh Felipe facing a maiden. As for Somerset, well, something a bit different for the first time this season, under a little bit of pressure. Kent 30 for 2, Essex 50 for 2, Hampshire 38 for 3, so they've just taken the 1 wicket, but at 62 for 1, we're talking about 200 being a par score, so it's still par, but a little bit different, and we've seen that with Somerset having to change the bowlers.
Well, they haven't done that here because Rella van der Merwe is going to carry on from the river end. Floodlights are on, but it is absolutely spectacular evening here.
That's surely got to be a reflection from the sun, hasn't it? It's absolutely cracking flags here.
I was wondering that when I saw them there. They are on.
They'll come through for a good 2 there, well run. But yeah, they do seem to switch them on in preparation for when it gets dark, but it does seem stupid, doesn't it?
I mean, they must have a direct line from EDF or whoever's robbing us of our electric bills at the moment. Rolf van der Merwe starting his second over. Such a good cricketer for the club.
Reverse and in the air and taken! Rolf van der Merwe instantly making an impact in his second over. Alsop's gone. That could be a big moment in this match.
Yeah, looked well set, didn't he? Tom Alsop, 65 off 30 balls against Kent. He'd really come out from the off. Played really well, 30 off 16 balls, a couple of 6s for him already. But that Rolf van der Merwe celebration was one that Somerset fans never tire of seeing.
Yeah, he's done it a fair few times as well. Interesting batting that from Tom Alsop. Every time he played what I would call a strong shot, a slog sweep or straight down the ground, he absolutely nailed it. I think he had 4 or 5 goes at the reverse sweep, missed every one and eventually cost him his wicket. So I think the coach might be tapping him on the shoulders later on and say get back in the nets and work that one out. But Rolf van der Merwe, brilliant performer for the club, and he's done it again. He's tied Sussex down in the power play to an 8-run over, and now he's just got that crucial breakthrough with Tom Alsop.
Yeah, he was able underneath it in the end. It never looked like he was going to miss it. Someone like Tom Abel, just the sort of person you want to see underneath one like that. Good catch, but very important wicket. Bopara, the new man.
Now this is a sight I just can't get used to. Ravi Bopara not in an Essex shirt. It doesn't look right. He hasn't quite fired with the bat for Sussex. Could this be the night? But great to see him still out there doing battle. Great player. And Rolf will be certainly tested.
Pushing forwards there was Bopara, and they will pick up a couple of runs actually. It was the same with you, Pete. Last year of your career, seeing you come out in the yellow and green of Nottinghamshire, just could not get used to that.
Yeah, I did hear that a few times, to be fair. Especially, you know, we played a Royal London game against Somerset. That was very, very strange. I spent most of the afternoon talking to James Hildreth.
Well, I changed the habit of a lifetime as that's push forwards just for a single by Bopara.
Got 100 against Somerset before in T20 Blast game. That was in an Essex shirt way back when, 2011. 415 games now.
Wow, what a performance.
Well over a year of his life just playing T20 cricket.
He needs to get a hobby, really, doesn't he?
Push down the ground there. Just a single to Felipe. Yeah, because he's 100 as well, you know, he's having a little flourish towards the end of his career here.
Yeah, keeps himself fit. He's got all the skills, plays really well on the subcontinent pitches, so you know, the PSL and the BPL and all those L's. Gets a lot of work in the winters, does Ravi.
Playing it out to point
Goldsworthy,
here.
he's not the man to take on. Oh, that would have been close if he'd have hit the stumps. Brilliant bit of fielding from Goldsworthy. He's absolutely rapid. I was watching him play football in the football warm-up earlier. He is like grease lightning. I certainly wouldn't be taking him on.
He's a good little footballer as well, isn't he, Goldsworthy?
Yeah, but nothing an elbow wouldn't sort out. But he looks tiny.
The keeper coming out and clattering in from the corner. Yeah, will be the move. Yeah. Here we go. Change of bowling. So Marcus just got it in there. He's marched into Delanga.
The big man comes on. The 1940s fighter pilot.
Yeah,
I absolutely love that. I just see Biggles with the scarf with the wire in his biplane. What a bowler! What a great man, and brilliant asset to have. It's so hard. This is dare I say it? I think this is the moment where Machad Delanga really shows his value, when this period here it's so difficult to take wickets, and he does give you a real wicket threat. There's only one way to stop a team scoring here at Taunton, and that's to continuously take wickets.
Starts with a pace off there. Bapara just picks up a single.
Yeah, it's clear that he's holding back from that one. It was pace which did it for him in the Essex game. I'm sure we'll see pace on pretty soon. Again, taking it off that time.
It's just letting the oil get round the system. A couple of slower balls, get a couple of little singles out there. The old Castrol GTX gets into the back, and I reckon this one's going to be the rocket.
Pete's called it. Of course, you faced him, didn't you, when he was a Glamorgan player, Pete? Come up against him a few times.
Yeah, he's a big fella. All you see is a great big foot coming at you. He's got quite a big gather with his left foot, and it looks like he's going to kick you in the face just before he's about to bowl the ball. He's quite an intimidating man to face up to. He's bowled another slower ball and let me down. Come on, Machan. I'd have loved him bowling slower balls to me all night. It was the 90-mile-an-hour bouncer at me throat that was the one that was in the back of my head all the time.
Sounds the kind of bloke that would hit you in the head and break your helmet, and then next morning get up at 6 a.m. and run 10 miles to buy you a new one. Just the kind of character he is.
Isn't he just? Cracking fella. Come on, Machan. Unleash.
That's one of them, but it's gone in the air and over Tom Lammonby's head.
Yeah, lovely shot there from Josh Felipe, who's motoring along. Lammonby was just a couple of steps in from the boundary, deliberately so, I think, because it's a long boundary out there. He was interested for half a second in the. Had he been right on the ropes, and marching Delanga's height, maybe he'd have been okay.
I think if there was one indication of a player's quality, is that shot a fast bouncer there, and he's played that off the front foot in front of square. Certainly tells me that Josh Felipe is some player.
Could have left that one alone, I think, heading down the leg side, but he's decided just to help it on its way to backward square leg, picking up a single.
Nice comeback ball from Delanga, but again, you know, even though that did go for 6, he is creating something. There's an energy, there's an anticipation when Delanga comes on. Like I said, he can go for runs, but as I said in the last show, he will win us a number of games throughout this series.
Not quite getting hold of it. Just coming off for a couple of runs, so 79 moves to 81 for 2. And unusual goings on in the ground at the moment. There is an apple about to be thrown into the ground. It's to
win a Crater cider.
Yeah.
Only at the Cooper Associates County Ground could that happen.
Is that the giant Thatchers apple again?
It's a tiny apple, I think.
Did he take it?
It's been held, yeah. It's been held.
work.
Well done. Man in there. It's got some funky hats on there, those guys. Crater Thatcher cider, I think, on the way. Thatcher's gold.
Don't put it in this room for too long, it will start boiling. Could do some aircon in here, couldn't we, chaps?
Sun beaming through the window in front of us as the shadows just lengthening a little. The shadow from the flats over to our left, just encroaching over about a quarter of the ground at the moment.
Shall I text Marcus to ask him to put the aircon on in this building?
He's got the keys, hasn't he?
I'm sure he's got the controls on his phone.
Change of ends then, it looks like, for Ben Green. Pushed into the leg side by Felipe, who's moved on to 33. Quite nicely, you know, got 33 now. Faced 22 balls. So started with that maiden, but there's a bit of pressure on him now because he's soaked up almost 4 overs. He needs to push on really and make a big score.
He's got a platform, hasn't he? It's interesting to see where he goes from here, because as you say, if you get out here, 4 overs gone with only adding 33, whereas if you sort of kick on.
Yeah, it's one of those innings that it depends on how it goes. It could be either a match winner or a shocker. If he gets out in the next 5-10 runs, probably the latter.
Pace off there from Ben Green, and there's a bit of a mix-up between bowler and batter, kind of got in each other's way and ended up coming through. We've seen quite a lot of pace off there already in this first 8.5 overs.
Yeah, it seems to be working. I think as a Somerset supporter, I think I'd be quite happy seeing what is under 10 and over on the board at the moment. It's looking like they might fall a bit short at this stage. If Somerset can keep using their skills, Ben Green hitting the block hole again. As Felipe pushes down to Lewis Gregory long on. Just a one. One's your friend here. If you're bowling singles and dot balls, the captain will be very, very happy with your work.
Bowling's been good, hasn't it, with Somerset, the way they've clearly worked on their skills over the winter, and coming in with ideas. Tom Abel's clearly got a good idea of who's doing what and how to shake things up.
Certainly has, and there is a feel at the top clubs in the country that there is a white and red ball squad starting to emerge, and you've got at least half the players that come in, and you can see that while the guys have been toiling in the championship, people like Ben Green and Lewis Goldsworthy have been doing their work, getting their skills up. I thought Lewis Goldsworthy played a real influential role in restricting Essex the other night with the ball. Yeah, it's great to have those players come in to add to the squad and come in with those white ball skills that you desperately need on a pitch like this. Well bowled again, Ben Green, as he goes off cut a slow ball into the pitch. And all Felipe is able to do is squirt that out to Ralof van der Merwe at cow corner.
Well, you look at the sides, almost half of that Somerset side, you see the beach ball flying around the Somerset stand, crowd in good spirits, almost half that Somerset side. De Lange, van der Merwe did play the first game up at Hampshire, but that was more due to illness for other players.
Stops. Green, great end to the over. What was actually a very good over from him, just 86 for 2 now from 9. So they are just behind 10 and over, which on this pitch we've been talking about, maybe looking at 200. Somerset will be pleased with that. Would like a wicket, you'd say, Felipe, if they could just get him out.
Yeah, it's got that sense that there's a building period. I think it's fair to say in most T20 games there's chaos at the start, there's the chaos at the end, and really what defines a big score is how you play and how dynamic you are through the middle. And on the bowling perspective side of that, how many wickets you can take through the middle. Lewis Goldsworthy coming into the attack now, bowled brilliantly, as I just said, against Essex, really slowed their run chase. I think it was Matt Critchley and Michael Pepper, wasn't it, really motoring when he came on and really started to tie them down. So hopefully he can do the same job tonight. Like I said, you obviously have to still bat well to chase a 190-200 score, but certainly looks like Somerset on course to hold them to a real chaseable totals. Goldsworthy comes in to bowl his first ball to Josh Felipe. It's a nice off-pace, slower spinning ball into back of length, and just cuts it to Tom Abel for 1.
Yeah, lots of protection on the leg side, man at long on, down in front of us. I think it's George Bartlett actually, he's on a subfield, yeah, 14, George Bartlett. Tom Lammonby's at deep mid-wicket, and he's a deep square leg as well. Van der Merwe down there.
Another single. Goldsworthy just making it hard to hit.
It's not, that's really Van der Merwe, long on. Interesting, 7 bowlers used already by Tom Abel. We're only in the 10th over, changing it up a bit.
It was a bit like that the other night, wasn't it? I thought Bantam was going to take his wicket-keeping gloves off at one stage to get everyone up there. No, that's the brilliant thing about the squad, isn't it? There's so many resources for Tom Abel to utilise different styles of bowlers. So if a batter's in, he can't line up a similar type of bowler as Ravi Bopara plays a trademark shot, stepping away to leg and lofting it over Tom Abel at extra cover for a 2-3 bounce 4. Beautiful shot.
Yep, spotted the space there in the boundary. Just had to get it over the inner field. Doesn't manage it this time. It's just a single.
skipper this year. Para taking over the reins from Luke Wright. This is his highest score in the Vitality Blast already. Down the wicket.
Swiped hard, it will go for 4.
Yeah, Van der Merwe was scrambling to his left but couldn't cut it off. That's the over then, 98-2 to Sussex approaching the 100.
At halfway point. Pretty good going for, well, both these sides will take some positives from what they've done already. Somerset pleased that they've kept them to 9.9 per over. Sussex will feel they've got a good platform here. 98 for 2.
At the halfway stage, Charlie, we're pretty happy here. As we said, 200 looks almost inevitable. As the great man Peter Siddle joins us in the commentary box. Welcome, Peter. How are you?
Well, boys, cheers. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, anytime, anytime. Having a little rest at the moment. Yeah, massive stint in the championship. Last few months, well bowled. You've not only been one of the unlucky bowlers, but then you had that spell where you just took wickets for fun. Awesome to watch.
Yeah, no, it's been good. I think we're pretty grateful, lucky here, I guess, that yeah, we've got the extra overseas in the red ball and the white ball. So yeah, it's nice to watch Shanky start off the season how he has so far in the white ball, and I'll just have a rest, and ideally he keeps going well, and I'm happy to sit on the sidelines and support the team. But I do love playing, so yeah, if I get the chance, I'll be looking forward to it. But yeah, the boys have been on a bit of a roll so far this year.
Yeah, they're playing beautifully, aren't they? 3 games, 3 wins, and convincing ones as well. So top up the town, get on that road bike.
Yeah, that's pretty much the plan, yeah.
Look after the body, ready for the second half of the season.
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, obviously it's a bit different, the fixture, with having that 4-day game in the middle of the season. It's just been sliced down the third man for 4. But yeah, I guess, yeah, that makes it a bit different. So to actually focus on red ball and sort of have a bit of a rest before that. We play that in the Sunday week. We start that again, and then back into T20, and then there's 2 more Champos at the back end of the T20 season. So it is pretty hectic. So yeah, as much as I'd like to be out there playing and having a crack at some stage, it's not too bad sitting on the sidelines to focus on those red ball games.
Yeah, big game coming up in the championship against Surrey in the next few weeks. Yeah, I was just actually mentioning purely by chance that the Somerset squad looks like it has a white ball, red ball feel to it, to an element. You know, 4 or 5 players coming into a very talented team. And you can tell they've been really honing their white ball skills. In particular, Ben Green, who's come in and he's bowling a lot of off-pace deliveries, hitting those Yorkers. And that doesn't just happen by fluke, does it, Sids?
No, it doesn't. I think it does help sometimes, and I think, you know, speaking to Abe's leading into it, he was a bit worried that some of the senior guys hadn't had the chance to even practice much going from red to white, but that was the best part of it, that yeah, there's probably a handful of guys here that were playing in those second 11 games, which can be hard, sometimes not the most fun, but you are getting to hone those skills, and I think, you know, we've definitely benefited from that. You see Marchand himself, Greenie, Goldie to an extent, those guys being able to come in and be ready to go and have the skill set ready to go. Obviously Georgie Bartlett on the sidelines, but we saw in that Sri Lanka game when he got his opportunity, because he's been playing those white ball games, that he's ready to go. He got a nice score there. So I think the guys are in a good place, and like we said, yeah, started well, and hopefully can continue that. It's going to be a tough outing tonight, but yeah, the boys are in a good frame of mind, and I think, yeah, we can definitely still get the job done.
Yeah, it's always one of the captaincy nightmares, isn't it? And I think I only got an E in my GCSE maths, but 18 doesn't go into 11, does it? It's always a tough thing. Lots of good players missing out, but like I said, it always feels like there's that squad mentality here, that everyone's ready to go when they get their opportunities. Ranulph and Van der Merwe comes back into the attack.
Yeah, that depth is something which Somerset are so lucky to have. As you mentioned there, the overseas players, to have, you know, potentially 2. Renshaw's away now, isn't he? But to have 2 who could come in like that must just be, you know, the coaches giving them a real headache, and Martin DeLange making that even worse. The fact he's playing so well and picking up those wickets. So.
No, that's the benefit, isn't it? That's like that when I was looking to come here, and I did say I wanted to play all formats. But I sort of wanted to be treated a bit like a local as well, in if I need a rest, or if I wasn't bowling well, then that's the case. But it's been great. I think I've really enjoyed working with the group so far and seeing the boys. They've got great work ethic. I think it showed in how they could adapt straight away and perform well in these first couple of games. I think I've been excited with Lammers. I think with the ball, we haven't really seen him bowl much in the nets or any red ball cricket so far this year. And then to be called upon to play a role, especially at the top in the power play, has been superb. And obviously, he's a great young talent. So it's nice to see him with the ball in hand and going about his business.
Yeah, I was going to speak to Curbs at some stage. I noticed when I was here, Lammers, if anything, got a little bit floaty sometimes in one-day cricket when he first started playing for the first team. But it looks like he's really hitting the deck and he's found his natural length the last few games. It's such a great asset to have a left armer. That natural variation in your attack gives the captain another tool up his sleeve.
No, it does. It's just that variation. I think it tends that a lot of right armers in T20 cricket are very similar. We've probably got the benefit as well of having Marchant, so we got that high-end speed when needed over most other teams. But yeah, you get that lefty into it, and I think the England squad that just got announced for that upcoming white ball series, it's stacked full of left-hand fast bowlers. So I guess they've seen something. So yeah, Lammers sticks to that.
There's a stat out there, isn't there? The analysts have been doing their work on their computers.
They have. They've found something that other teams haven't. So I guess, yeah, it must be something in Australia by the sounds of it. That's where they're heading for that T20 World Cup.
Or
So
maybe it's specific to Holland. Maybe there's a stat out there. Left armers in Holland do better than right armers in Holland.
That's right.
Still off Van der Merwe. Oh, another tidy over here. Josh Felipe, 43. Ravi Bopara, 28. 112 for 2.
Not trying to force it too much here, just happy to knock it around at the moment. Still got plenty of batting to come, Sussex. So if these two can stay and get towards the death, give them a really good platform.
Yeah, I don't think it's a secret, you know, the comments that I made, you know, after talking to Tom Banton during the last game. You know, he sensed that you give yourself a little bit of time here at Taunton, and 10-15 runs is easily gettable towards the back end, and you know, experienced players like Ravi and Josh Felipe will certainly be aware of a ground with these sort of dimensions. You can really push on if you give yourself that platform. 2 down now. It's looking a little bit ominous for Somerset now. You know, that's the beautiful thing about having someone like Prashant Langer, is can he come on and strike in this period where, you know, the sort of 80-mile-an-hour bowlers might just be cannon fodder.
Just about keeping it to under 10 and over, which you've sort of said from the start. Pete, you looked at the pitch, said that it's probably about right, about 200. I'm sorry, with 2 Petes at the moment. I just realised Pete Trigo, you said about 200 be about right. So,
yeah, it looked. I mean, like I said, I stood on it and I was just. I wanted to go and get me bat out the boot. To be honest, it looked an absolute belter. To be fair, but yeah, 200. I don't think Somerset guys would be intimidated by seeing 2. You never really want to see 200, but it's not a normal ground here at Taunton, as we've said and seen many times before. It's just, you know, the thing is, I think there was always a bit of a philosophy here with Sarge. You know, every run you can restrict is one less you have to chase. Chasing runs is never easy, but you look at the way that Somerset have gone about their season so far. Tom Abel and Riley Rousseau, Will Smead. Banton hasn't fired yet, but you know, he's due. Lammers, Lewis Gregory, a lot of these guys haven't even had a chance to show what they can do. So 200 does not intimidate too much Somerset.
No, I think you're right there, Pete. That is the thing at the back end, isn't it? If we can restrict, like 200 is probably the number we're looking at. If you can restrict it to low 2s, even 198, 199, like, that makes a big difference than leaking out at the end and getting up to a 210. But yeah, obviously it's the second game on this wicket, isn't it? So it's a nice night for it. It's going to be a great night to bat later on. That if the boys can just keep it as tight as possible. You get a couple of key wickets at this stage of the game as well. It can slow it down quite quickly for the incoming batsmen. So we're in a good position. I think we just have to take those wickets.
If you were in this position, what would you be doing with the ball? We've seen a lot of pace off. Is that something you'd look to do?
Well, Charlie, the way I used to bowl, I'd be panicking, to be honest. Flat wicket, 140. Yeah, I think it's just to try and be. At the end of the day, I think and hopefully Sid will back me up with this. Is important. You probably need to have 3 or 4 balls that you're really confident of executing. For me, I used to have like a wobble seam or split seam hard length ball that I'd try and jam into the box, a back of the hand slower ball, and then if all else fails, just try and hit the block hole. They were probably like the 3 main balls that I'd try and, you know, get out of an over with, because ultimately we are in a situation where it's just get in and out your over without conceding boundaries at either end, because that really gives the opposition momentum. When they get a boundary first ball, you can always see the batter's eyes light up, and when you give away a boundary on the 5th, 6th ball, it's almost like you've spoiled your over. So getting in and out and over is pretty crucial.
Yeah, agreed. I think even chatting to some of the boys, just asking about different things and how I go about it, and that's exactly right. It's in these situations, if you're not confident with a couple of deliveries, and you're bits and pieces of all the deliveries, then it can be hard work working out what you want to do. But like Pete said, if you're in doubt, at least he knew the balls that he could 100% rely on, and he could run in and bowl them. And if that one of them didn't work, you move on to the next 2 that you've got. Rather than having a heap of balls that you're not super confident in bowling, can be hard work, especially when you're under the pump. So I think we're pretty lucky that we've got an experienced bowling lineup. There's enough experience out there on the field as well to help some of these guys. And then it's just about trying to find a wicket somewhere along the line. If you can just throw something out there and get the breakthrough and get the new batter in.
I was just about to say we haven't seen a boundary for a while, and that one's been sort of chipped really through the leg side, mid-wicket area for 4. But actually, up until that point, Somerset have been doing what you've both been saying there pretty well, actually, just not giving away boundaries. I don't think that was given away, maybe, but keeping it tight, keeping the pressure on, even though that you've still got all this batting to come.
Yeah, I think you have a sense, JD will sense now that the big shot's coming, and he's gone for the Yorker there, slightly gone over pitch, and Ravi's put it away. But that's the crazy thing about Taunton. You can actually bowl a pretty good over and still go for 10. That can be tough. And Sids, I don't know what you think, and it'd be interesting to get your opinion on this. You know, what the current dressing room and the environment's like with Tom Abel leading it. I always felt when you were bowling or batting in T20, when you've really got to push the boundaries of your skills, is having the backing of your captain. Because there are days, even the greatest bowlers get met, and even the greatest batsmen get low scores playing a ridiculously big shot. But I always felt, you know, in my era playing with Justin Lang as captain, I always felt like he believed in me, and that used to almost relax me in a real high pressure situation.
Yeah, that's right. I think, and Abe's has got that. I think he's got that understanding that if you've prepared and you've got those skill sets, that he'll back you with what you believe you can bowl. And I think even just having that support, because like you said, if you've got one idea, the captain's got a different one, and then you've got to try and execute what he wants, and that's not to the greatest part of your skill.
Yeah, to be fair, me and Alfie had some different ideas a lot of the time.
You definitely would have, that's for sure. But no, I think Abe's is obviously putting a lot on the bowlers, but they're confident in what they're doing. I think that's the strength that we've got at the moment. And like Pete said, that's not always going to come off. There is going to be days where your best ball, even if you've nearly executed to spot on, is going to go the journey. It's one of those days. But you just got to stay consistent with what your skill sets are and what your best balls are. And if you stick to those and you have a bad day, then so be it. But it's when you start going away from things that the captain doesn't want, or the field's set and you bowl different ball and you start trying different things like that, then that's where it becomes uncomfortable. But at the moment, and on the back of 3 wins, so it makes it a lot easier, it's all working well.
Yeah, confidence is certainly high. Always sort of hung your hat on the practice side of it, wasn't it? It's amazing how they talk a lot in multiple sports about momentum. You get those couple of wins under your belt, and all of a sudden you feel kind of bulletproof. If you've lost 2-1-1, all of a sudden 200, looks like a big fetch. But after the way Somerset have played the first 2 games, like I said, it's almost inevitable at this stage that 200 is going to be somewhere about what's going to be set by Sussex, unless something miraculous happens. Like I said, Delanger the other day, was it 4 for 9, as we keep saying? Yeah. That's the X factor that he can sometimes bring.
Those spells happen, don't they? As Felipe's just made his half century from 34 balls. That one is pulled for 4, and the score is on to 130 for 2. So it's under. You've played under many captains at Test level, but also in county level too. How does Abel compare or differ from what he does to what others do?
Well, he's a lot quieter. I think we all know that. He's obviously a very quiet and just very polite young man, isn't he? So his captaincy is along those lines, but he knows what he's doing. I think it's no dissimilar to Pup. Obviously, he wasn't the most, he wasn't the big tough Australian captain that we had over the years. But it's just about leading, isn't it? And obviously, Abe's goes about his business with the bat. He leads by example there with the bat in hand. And then similar to what I said about, he trusts your skills and what you want to do, which, it puts a lot of pressure on you. But if you've prepared and you're willing to back your own skills, then it's fine. So, no, but he's been great. I think it's been hard work in a little bit of the red ball, the way we've been playing. We haven't played to our best. So it's been a bit of tough for him to obviously concentrate on the batting side of things and then trying to run the show on the field. But he's done a good job there. But as we've seen in the last few games, I think he's changed the bowlers throughout the first few T20 games. The options that he's had at his disposal have been good as well. So I think he's done a good job juggling that, which with loads of options, bowling options in your team in a T20 can sometimes complicate it and make it hard work because you're always chopping and throwing different guys. But I think he's done it well, and the bowlers have backed him up with the ball in hand.
Yeah, look, this winter, sat down, having my breakfast, cup of coffee, watching yourself, have a fantastic big bash. Captaincy, was that something that you sort of revelled and wanted? How did you enjoy it?
Well, I think firstly it's probably just thrown on me because, head normally captain, test team, vice captain Carey gets the call up pretty much. He's going to have the whole summer, so they're like, we need someone else. The rest of the side's pretty young and inexperienced, so I was like,
did a few heads hit the floor? And,
we've got to throw it to you. Do you mind doing it? And I'm like, well, I'll probably have to do it. But I think at the end of the day, it's probably not. It wasn't a lot different than what I'd normally do if I was on the field. I tend to work with the bowlers. I tend to be the one that the captain trusted in telling or working with them the delivery they're going to bowl and the field we set. So a lot of it more then was just concentrating on who's bowling the next over and stuff like that. Did I enjoy it? Probably not quite as much. As you know, T20 cricket's enjoyable, entertaining, fun.
Is this a move you would have gone for? Delanger coming on to bowl 15th over. I suppose he
probably had
right
to anyway.
He's got his 3. I think after 4 for 9, if he didn't bowl his quota, there'd be some eyebrows raised. Be interested to see if he can make a breakthrough.
It's probably just the end. Which end did you want to bowl him from? Probably had more room on the leg side, so maybe this grandstand end, maybe the better option. But
yeah, I was going to say, do you reckon he picked bowling to the short leg side boundary to the right-hander?
I don't think so.
That's a brave man who puts his hand up for that job.
Big fella running up the hill. It's probably not his choice of end, but on the other hand, he has been executing beautifully from wherever he's had the bowl. So he's probably the most in form in a way with having to bowl these tough overs. So I
think that ball there just shows just how difficult it is here at Taunton. He's missed his Yorker by an absolute minute amount, and Ravi's just uses wit, his experienced hands. He knows exactly where he's trying to hit the ball, and he's gone away for 4 without bowling that bad a ball. And then he's gone slower ball outside off stump. It's almost like Ravi knew it was coming. He stepped away and he's slashed him through point. For back-to-back boundaries, Sussex Sharks move on to 142.
78 run partnership,
Yeah, it's building, isn't it? You can see that they're playing a real smart game here, the Sharks. Ravi Bopara, I did fear that he was due to get a big score for Sussex. I didn't want it to be tonight. And he moves on to 45. Langer into bowl again. Ravi Bopara steps across his stumps. He jams in that Yorker and manages to get it out to deep square leg. Not sure who's doing the fielding out there. Can you see from your angle, Charlie?
Smeedy.
Yeah. Will Smeed. Oh, how could I not see the boundary? It's because he's got a long sleeve shirt and I can't see his biceps.
Yeah, he's loved the long sleeve so far this year.
Mate, with arms like that, I'd have short sleeves on all the time.
And real short too.
Real short. Maybe even a singlet.
Oh, it's in the air. Now who's going to be underneath this one? It's the bowler. Marshall Delanger drops it. Doesn't take it. Big moment. DeLang has dropped Felipe on 56.
Interesting
It's
call,
Bopara on 46.
That's a big moment. That is what we were kind of predicting, that DeLang has that ability just to change things, bowl that fast bouncer, make that mistake. And I tell you what, I'd be a bit grumpy with Ben Green not coming in from that. Much easier to walk in to take a catch than swirling back over your head as a bowler. Maybe the battles of the moustache will be had later on.
Bopara survives. Clips this one nicely to mid-wicket. Big moment in the game. How many will Bopara go on to make?
It is, and that's the thing. March, and he does make things happen. And I think sometimes that's the benefit. You bowl to the shorter boundary. They're probably not expecting the bouncer to be bowled as much, but executed beautifully. And I know as the bowler, I'd be calling any fielder in to come get that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be getting under it, even if it is off my own bowling.
I can remember fielding near Charles Willoughby, and if a catch went up and we were near each other, he would shout, "It's not mine."
Yeah, leave it for anyone else.
Yeah. Brilliant. Yeah, exactly. He's got that point of difference as we've spoken about. It hasn't worked out, but he's certainly created an opportunity there as Josh Davey comes back into the attack to bowl the 16th over. Sussex Sharks' innings really looks like it's bubbling at the moment. They've done a lot of the groundwork. The partnership is nearing 100, and they're just looking to speed up a little bit. As Josh Davey jams in a Yorker there, they'll be looking to really push that run rate up at the moment. It's hovering around the 9-10 runs and over mark at the moment. They'll be targeting, what would you say, Sids, off this last 5? 60 runs?
I think, yeah, with only a couple of wickets down, that they'd want to at least get 60, I think. Ideally, these two go on, but they do have a lot of strike power still to come in the next few batters. So I think, yeah, 60 is probably a good starting point, and hopefully we've got our two key bowlers bowling these first couple of overs, and hopefully that can be the difference.
This one goes through Banton. Won't go all the way, though. Losing everything. Josh David, delivery.
Well, we've got these fantastic images up on the screen, Sids. If we should divert our attention slightly away from this game, we don't have people of your calibre in the commentary box too often. Marcus Trescothick comes in every now and then, but then again, it is his building. Let's just have a little bit of a conversation about yourself, your last few years, your career, particular career highlight for you, Sids.
I don't know, the last few years, I'm just enjoying playing with new people, and seeing young guys come along and perform, and I've done what I've needed to do and wanted to achieve. I think now it's just about trying to win games for teams and hopefully still perform. I still love the game, hence why I still play 4-day cricket as well. That's my favourite format. So yeah, I think it's just last couple of years I moved down from Victoria down to Tasmania, which in Australia doesn't happen that often, changing states. So just working with a new group of guys, and last year we finished third in both formats, and just seeing young guys develop. I played a lot alongside Nath Ellis, who we played at Hampshire the other day, and just seeing him come along, and that's what makes me tick now. I think it's no different than coming here and seeing young guys like Lammers with the ball and bowling well, and even Greeny working on his bowl, and seeing those guys develop, and just try and help them along the way. And if you can play a small little part in making them develop, I think that's the biggest enjoyment for me. And I've always said over these last couple of years, there's always plenty of people, especially on the socials, saying, "Why are you still playing? You should be retired." And I'm happy to retire. And I think the best thing for me would be one of these guys just push me out. I go on my way. I don't need the fairy tale. I'm happy to.
It's amazing how that emotion creeps in. Josh Davey bowls a bouncer to Ravi Bopara. He swivel pulls inside half it, and it is very smartly caught.
Rousseau.
By Riley Rousseau. Short 45. That is an absolutely crucial wicket. That just stemmed the flow. Maybe, just maybe, help Somerset restrict Sussex to a sub-200 score.
Well, it changes. You talked about there, since was mentioning 60 in the last 5. That now just changes it slightly, doesn't it? Just brings you back for a few, because whoever the new batter is will come in and just take a few more balls than it would have taken these two to get going. So
yeah, even though I think from my experience, there's playing in good T20 teams, there's always a period or a conversation where you don't want to lose a cluster of wickets. Just even if it's 4 or 5 balls, a little bit of a rebuild period. So yeah, that 60 becomes 55, and that, in T20 could be absolutely crucial.
All the difference, yeah.
But it's amazing, Sid, how when you get a bit older in a team, you do start focusing on other people's success more than yourselves. You spend a lot of your career, you wanting to do as good for the team as possible, but it's quite individually based as well, isn't it? But then you have that sort of senior pro sort of moment. I don't know when it happens, what age, but all of a sudden you're really aware of really enjoying other people's success. That was the nicest thing I can remember about my last few years is sharing a drink or two, celebrating guys' first hundreds or first fifers. I used to love that. As Delray Rawlins comes to the crease, and there's no rebuilding period for Delray Rawlins. Swats it straight over the mid-wicket boundary for 4 runs. A shame that for Josh Davey, but he's got the crucial breakthrough of Ravi Bopara, Sussex Sharks.
Neil Diamond, of course, the very famous song that the lads and girls from Shaftesbury Road Cricket Club are going to help me with. See if they know the next line. Here we go. Sweet Caroline.
Bum, bum, bum. Good times never seem so good. So good, so good, so good. I feel inclined, bum, 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 to believe there never were.
From the river end,
Keep
Ben
going,
Green.
Going as they come in here.
I think in every format Delray Rawlins plays his shots. He's, in Champo games he could hit 4 or 5 fours in a row on his first 10 balls, and then he'll just play an outrageous shot.
It's gone high.
From nowhere. Can he reel it in?
Massive.
He's just got enough on it. Josh Felipe there. He's popped it into the old, what used to be the Marcus Trescothic stand, into the river stand. But you can't have a building and a stand, can you? So it's gone into the river stand. 4-6.
Where's the Trigo stand going?
Well, I was thinking it was going to be more like the Trigo toilet or Trigo
cubicle.
Fish and chip shop, maybe.
Down to the left here, the new little stand next to the old scoreboard. There's a little stand going in there.
Well, it would be
needs something.
It would be a lovely legacy, but I don't think my career quite got to the dizzy heights of anything being named after me.
6 more there as Sussex are putting their foot to the pedal here. Really rocketing now. 165 for 3, and Somerset are at a bit of a risk here. They can't just let these runs flow, or we're looking at a lot more than 200.
You know what it's like, Sid's in county. Maybe if I put in a maybe 15 to 30 year shift in the commentary box, this room maybe. What about that? There we go.
Not the worst thing. Not the worst thing. But then you've probably got to get that past Trez, don't you? Is he going to give you a room?
Yeah.
Going to give you a room in his building?
Our names, TRE.
Well, you're saying you might come in one night and sort of scrape off the Scothic and put in a go. Yeah, just have the Trigo pavilion end.
get Banksy to do a big mural of my grill over here.
Catch taken. Goldsworthy gets the end of Felipe for 70. It's been a brilliant innings from him. And Sussex Sharks 165 for 4. Somerset picking up the 2 set batters in a couple of overs there. Bopara is gone, and now Felipe as well. He was dropped earlier on by Marshall DeLanger, but doesn't add all that many more runs. And 165 for 4. Now this might just check, I'll say it again, see if we can just slow that pace down from Sussex, but 2 newish batters now. Do you think that will make a difference?
That's a real clever piece of bowling there from Ben Green. Almost like a real hard cutter into the surface. Josh Felipe has tried to give himself room. He's got a real crucial wicket. That was an innings that was looking very ominous for Somerset. So new batters at the crease. It's the time where someone like DeLanger coming on in the next over, try and hit some toes. If we can get 2 or 3 wickets, that can really curtail Sussex's charge. What would you be doing now, Captain Tiddle?
Oh, 2 lefties in now, so it's actually, he's bowling from a nice end. It's a little bit more of a space out in this leg side, so he's probably, it looks like that last ball did hold a little bit in the wicket, so both Garton and Rawlings, like you said, do like to strike the ball, so I'd be hoping that it's off pace into the wicket, especially if the field he's got set as well, with third and short fine up, so here we go, we'll see.
Does that shout pace off? Slashes that through point. Roloff van der Merwe diving through a row of houses as he always does. Reels that in and saves. And on a certain boundary, great bit of fielding out there from Roloff.
Wasn't really where I thought he was going to bowl it with the short offside. He's bowled the ball wide outside off stump. So
well, the late great Shane Warne. Was it the reverse Malachi? Was that his saying for a double bluff?
He did like that. Yeah, he loved the bluff, but sometimes you probably don't need to.
This is good stuff from Green. He hits the stumps with his kick of the ball as well, but Rawlins was well in.
Yeah, this is a better finish after obviously the start. It was a big start from Philippe, but a little bit of change of pace. It does look like it's holding a little bit, so try and use all the space that he's got on the leg side here, force him to hit that side.
Good prospect for Australia, Philippe. He's got a skill, clearly. We've seen it today, but he's playing all around the world.
Yeah, he has. He's obviously a good keeper as well. Like can bat anywhere in the order, but has showed up top that's the place for him to bat.
Green taking the pace off it there. That would be a single. So what are we looking at now? 3 overs to go, 169 for Ford. Triggs, how are you looking at that now? Pretty much already exactly 10 and over still.
Yeah, I find it almost impossible not to predict when I'm commentating, but I am dreadful at predicting scores. Every time I predict someone's going to do well or badly, the opposite happens. But I still stand by what I said at the start of the show. I just think 200 looks like a very gettable and easily gettable score from pretty much any position. So I'll stick with my 200.
Yeah, looking good. Sid, agree?
Yeah, and I think we have to remember it's up there with the highest scoring ground in the world, isn't it?
It's not up there, so
yeah,
it is.
It's at the top. So there we go. So like, and I know I've played against Somerset over the years in different white ball formats. It's high scoring ground. So I think Triggs said it perfectly before. It's not so much what the end result's going to be. It's about how can we restrict that as best we can. And I think, well, as much as Greeny still went for 15 that last over, he got in for 2 sixes the first 2 balls. So to drag that back, even little wins like that off the last 4 balls, is a good result.
Change of ends from De Lange. Doesn't work for him. It goes for 6. In fact, it hits the top of the sight screen as like a really thin grate there. He's managed to bounce it off the top of that. Rawlins. It's a big shot. First up from De Lange, going for 6. 175 for 4 now. Sussex are going to be really increasing the rate if they can from this point.
That is also an unbelievable shot. A low full toss. And he's absolutely belted that back over his head. That will anger the 1940s Spitfire pilot. Come on, Machan, do your thing.
Pace off, does the business there.
Great comeback using his experience. A little bit of a gamble there, bowling a length slower ball, but it's paid off. I think Sid's is it fair to say that it looks like Rawlins is camped on, waiting for short balls?
Yeah,
he looks like he's parked there, isn't he?
They don't tend to. You don't expect a lot of slower balls off guys that bowl this kind of pace, do you? It's either short at the melon or fast at your toes. So
this one down the ground will bounce just in front of the rope. Well taken by Josh Davies, stopping it, running away for 4. Come back for a couple there.
It'll be the similar challenge for the Somerset batters later. We've got Stephen Finn and Tamal Mills on show. Tamal Mills in particular bowls a very slow back at the handball, as well as the 90-mile-an-hour rocket. I know which one I'd have my eye on.
Got the big boy McCoy tonight as well. Get to see him go about his business.
Shorter, hooked. Well stopped in the end by Van der Merwe. Bounced just in front of him.
Flamboyant shot.
Yeah, I didn't really want to call it a typical pull shot. So
I think both these guys have played a little bit with Gartz out at the Strikers 2 years ago, and he likes to play some shots all over the place too. They're not very conventional, but can strike it when he gets going.
And that is taken nicely, stopping it running away outside the inner ring there from Goldsworthy. 179 for 4, with 13 balls to come. Potentially 7 of them from De Lange. This will be one of them. in the air. Will be taken. Lammonby underneath it, takes it in front of him, low to the ground. Delanga gets a wicket.
Lammonby's running in there, timed it perfectly. And again, I know he's taken a little bit of damage there, but that's a key wicket. Delray Rawlins could be really destructive. Good to have him back in the shed for these last couple of overs.
That's a great finish to that over by March, and I think similar we said about Green's over. He went for 2 sixes in the previous one, finished strong with the 4 balls, and the same by March at then. The first ball 6, but then to be able to finish the way he did with a wicket. I know we're trying to keep him under that 10 and over, but when you get damaged on the first one, sometimes hard to close out, but he's done a beautiful job there. And the dangerous wicket, so the wickets keep tumbling each over here, and hopefully we can restrict the runs the lower you get into that batting order.
I know Alfonso Thomas, I will always like to reference him when I'm commentating on T20, because I saw him bowl so many magnificent overs at the death in particular. He was always massive when he spoke to young bowlers about drumming into them to not bowl emotional deliveries based on what the previous ball whatever had happened, 4, 6, whatever, because again you're going to get hit for 4 or 6 as a bowler no matter how good you are. And always his sort of real mantra was fight for every ball. And you know, like I said, in a game that, you know, most T20 games, what do they come down to? 5, 10, 15 runs, always most games. You know, that could be that one emotional delivery that can cost your team. So keep scrapping for every over, every ball.
Garton finding a gap in the field there through cover. Just in front of the point, and there is.
Just trust me,
straight
guys.
Away.
Trust me, Charlie. I've seen some emotional bowlers at this place after a one-day game. It's a brutal place. I think he's finished a few careers, Taunton.
It's true. From a batting point of view, we're always saying, you know, batters concentrate, you know, ball by ball, like you just face that one and read it and whatever happens. So it's no different as a bowler. You do have to just park whatever happened, because it actually could have been the perfect delivery, but T20 cricket, sometimes that delivery does go for a boundary.
Drummed into the pitch, it's huge, this one, going over the temporary stand. Oh, just taken, I think, or nearly taken in the back row of the stand. Josh Davies digging it in a bit, and Garton smashing it for 6. 189 now, with 5 down. Really tricky part of the play here, isn't it? There's a few conversations go on about what to do. Got to stem those runs.
Oh, it's so tough. I mean, I'm looking at the bowling figures now, and you know, Lewis Gregory, if my mind's eye, didn't bowl a bad over, went for 13. You know, Ben Green, I thought bowled really well. He's gone for 41 off his 4. It's almost like there's a magnet dragging the ball to the boundary here at Taunton on days like this, on a pitch of this quality. Hopefully continue through the evening. We've got a near full sellout crowd here. I'm sure you can hear from our effects mics. They're in very good spirits, as Charlie mentioned earlier. We've got bank holiday after bank holiday. The Thatchers is flowing.
Have you got your bunting up, Trigger?
My bunting?
Yeah, you put it up.
Oh, that's a bit out of my remit. My suit's made out of bunting. That's
slower ball, Garton guiding it around the corner. Pick up a boundary there.
I think the crowd's probably going to be benefit from these runs. I think that's what they want to see, don't they? They come to these games, they want to see big scores, they want to see boundaries, 6s, and especially with us batting second, that they're probably getting excited that the more runs we've got to chase, the more exciting it could come down to. So I think hopefully we know Bance hasn't quite got going, so hopefully tonight's the night. He does like a big stage and a big chase, so there's a big opportunity for him tonight.
Yeah, there's a reason why.
Bowled! Got him. Trying to make a bit of space, play it around the corner. In the end, Davey pushing it up fuller. And Garton goes, who's just looking dangerous as well. Another setback for Sussex.
Fantastic bit of bowling there from Josh Davey. Like I said, sticking in. He's been hit around a few times tonight, but that's again inevitable in this format of the game. But he's come back and he's got a key wicket. Every wicket in T20 seems to be pretty key. I mean, you've got another big hitter striding to the wicket now. They just come thick and fast.
14 off 7 for Garton, so good, useful inning. 7 balls, send them away for 2 a ball. Somerset. Muted celebrations though. I think they know they've got a bit of a job on here when it comes to the second innings. Is there, people talk about fielding under the lights and the differences. Does it make a big difference really? Batting first and then having to field under the lights, potentially due around maybe?
Never really found it a massive issue in England. I found in the subcontinent really difficult because the night sky was so dark, and often the ball would go out of the lights and come back in, and it always just hit. I don't know if you found this, it always hits your hands a lot quicker than you think it's going. I don't know. Always found it particularly difficult. I remember the worst place I ever played was Sharjah. Played at the Sharjah Cricket Ground, a day-night game. I took a couple on the chest, right on the breastbone, under a couple of tall, high ones at Cow Corner. Thud on the floor.
Trying to control it like a football.
Oh, it was just terrible, so embarrassing. But I can remember going out in the evening afterwards to practice, and it didn't get any better.
David just bowling a wide, that previous ball. This one will pick out the fielder. So good end again from Josh Davey. Sid has been mentioning it about starting off with Sussex on top of each over, but then coming back into it. So it's McCoy who's at the crease with Ward now.
Josh Davey finishes his spell 3 for 45. It's 4 overs. Feels like he's bowled better than that, but like I said, that is Taunton. That is why Taunton's always full in a white ball cricket match. It's great entertainment here at the Cooper Associates County Ground. We're loving it up here in the commentary box. Myself, Charlie Taylor and Peter Siddle. Thanks for joining us, Sid. Really enjoying your insight and company, my friend.
Oh, it's been good. Thanks for having me up. And like I said, it'd be nice to be out there, but yeah, it's enjoyable. Loving my time here at Somerset so far, and enjoying being up here. And it's actually a beautiful view from up here, isn't it? A nice evening, the sun's out,
can't beat it,
crowd's pumping.
Well, there's a bit of deliberation. You're training for an Ironman. Is that the word on the street?
That was the plan. When I got home from England last year, I was training for one, and it ended up getting cancelled just from bad weather and stuff. So
big shout, gone. Wicket first ball from the last over. McCoy goes, LBW. Delanger picks up another wicket.
Great piece of bowling that. That is what you want to the number 8 batter. 90-mile-an-hour toe crusher, thudding into what would have been middle stump if his boot didn't get in the way.
That's what you like to see. Shanky back in his best ball. He might have a shortish boundary on the leg side there, but still back in the best ball. He is still a lower order player, so he's not going to quite pick it up as well as some of these top order players. And like Trig said, you bowl 90 miles, it is hard work.
This will be a hat-trick ball then. Wicket on the last ball of his previous over. Wicket first up here. Fancy a hat-trick in the T20s. What do we think? What's he going to do? Got to bowl at the stumps here, surely. Sids, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I can't see any bowling a different ball than what he just bowled then.
Full pace toe crusher, Triggs.
Oh, I'd be amazed if it wasn't, to be honest. And I think if he executes it, we're going to see some orange poles jumping around all over the place. That'd be a fantastic sight. Like I said, he comes under a bit of fire, does Chant Delanger, because of the pacey bowl. Sometimes the ball can fly off to all parts, thick edges, go for 6, not 4, and all that kind of stuff. But for me, he's a real matchman.
Well, it's going to be Tamar Mills coming into the game in the 20th over, facing a hat-trick ball from Marshall Delanger. What a welcome. Let's see if he can do it then. It's a shorter ball, and they're going to run off it as well, and they won't pick up a wicket. Interesting, he didn't do what we thought.
I got to be honest, as someone who's faced Tamal for many years, I'm well happy that he's tried to get him one, just to give him a bit of pain back that he's caused all the batters over the years. But yeah, very surprised he hasn't gone for the stumps, because Tamal Mills was nearly off the strip by the time that was released. I'm not sure he was that keen on staying in line.
I'm not so sure they would have known it was a hat-trick either.
Obviously,
we have some added assistance up here that that lets us know, but maybe they didn't know.
When it's split across overs, Sean Marshall probably knew. As that's full in the air. Who's coming around? Josh Davey, no, he's only going to watch it over the boundary. Now there's 6 to the total, takes them to 200 now, Sussex Sharks. So Somerset will be chasing over 200 runs to win this game, but how many more we'll find out.
No matter what was happening tonight, 200 was getting on that board. I just always felt that way. But I've played so many games here where you chase 200 in the 17th, 16th over. I mean, it's nothing. If you play well, you will chase. I'm fully confident that unless Somerset get bowled out, they'll win this game.
That one has also gone all the way for 6, so consecutive maximums now. Ward doing really big damage in this last over to 13. Couple of balls left. You'll definitely want to stay with us during the interval. We'll tell you why in a minute. DeLanger in again, slower. This field's in the air. Oh, it's found the gap. There'll be a chase onto the boundary, but the fielders won't win it. And it's another one, 4 to the total now. 210 for 7, getting away from Somerset a little bit in this last over, Triggs.
Yeah, this is painful. I saw 200, 210. You know, Somerset have got the ability to chase us down, no doubt, but this is a painful over, painful finish. Like I said, in the modern game, there's no such thing as a tail ender anymore.
Ward, 17 off 4 balls. Will face the last ball. This one is in the air again. Will it go all the way? Yes! He's finished on 23 from 5 balls. That is absolutely devastating at the end here. And 216 is the final score. 217 to win. Sid, how do you think Somerset will be feeling?
Yeah, obviously, like Triggs said, it is nervous. You look at the board, you've got to get 200 to win the game. But as we know, we've seen tonight, it's a beautiful wicket. If you get in, you can make the most of it, and I think that's what we've got to talk about. We've got a lot of firepower in our first 3 batters. If one of those boys gets going and is still in around the 12, 13 over mark, we're going to be well on our way to chasing this down, and I think that's what it comes down to. One of those boys getting in, and like Triggs said, sometimes you might have to just take your time at the top, but when you do, it's easy to find the boundary, find those ropes, so no doubt those boys will be ready. Bance, he's looking for one, and what a better way to do it. 216 to chase, home crowd, plenty of people in. I think tonight's the night.
Yeah, Tom Banton's got his new bats delivered. I saw that on social media, so he's going to be cracking open the best one. The way that young Smeed's playing, outstanding. A fast start here, which, to be fair, I think you can just play good, strong cricket shots and get off to a quick start here. Somewhere, you know, you're going to need 10 and over. You're going to need 60, 70 in the power play, no doubt. And then it's going to take someone to take real responsibility. And one thing lacking on the Sussex attack was a real big score. You know, 70, Josh Philippi. You know, that's a pretty good contribution. But you know, there's 100 out here for someone. Yeah. Definitely tonight. Really would be great to see a Tom Banton or a Will Smeed 100 here at Taunton.
Fingers crossed we'll be talking about that coming up then in the second innings. Do stay with us, lots to come here, including the chase. 217 Somerset will be chasing here at what is still a glorious evening at Taunton. We are now going to be heading towards the Thatchers Apple Roll, which is going on as we say thanks very much to Peter Siddle for being with us here during the first innings. But the Thatchers Apple Roll with celebrity guest Matt Renshaw is going to be taking part in this. He is down there. We're going to be heading over to find out a bit more about it as we look at the scorecard there. Philippi 70 runs, Ravi Bopara just short of 50. Some big scores there, and that Ward innings was great at the end. But let's now head down to the Thatchers Apple Roll with Matt Renshaw.
Somerset go in pursuit of 217 to win very shortly, but it's time for the Thatchers Apple Run, courtesy of our sponsors, Thatchers Cider. A slab of Thatchers Gold goes to the winning team. So let me introduce the 2 new teams. I'll also dust off some of my apple puns. Don't worry about that. Remember, this tests your core apple strength. Don't get pipped at the post. And as my old Granny Smith said to me, don't run too fast. You'll look red. You'll look like a pink lady. Okay, here we go. Right, the 2 teams. Thank you very much for the one person who applauded there. We've got Elliot and Louis representing Team M&H. Give us a wave. Give them a round of applause. That's Elliot and Louis from Team M&H. And then we've got Alex from Keyworth and a special guest contestant. It's Somerset and Australia International, Matt Renshaw. I think height would be an advantage here, but the guy, Tomo, was very tall in the Essex game and he almost impaled himself on an apple. He was all arms and legs. So we'll see how this one goes tonight. The ball will be thrown, it will be hit into the Somerset stand, and then the contestants, oh, there's hurdles this week, blimey, that's the new addition. So then the apple will be rolled along to the end and back, and then their teammate goes, and its first past the post wins a slab of Thatchers gold. Okay, get behind them. 3, 2, 1, go! A miss from Alex. Inauspicious start, but he's got a decent push. A decent push, plenty of momentum from Alex. Louis, is that cheating? He's pulling it, he's pulling it. Boos from the crowd, they don't like it. Alex has gone way too far. He's gone way too far. How many pints has Alex had? Let's Alex is back in the lead. Louis, the technique, and he's down. We've lost Louis. Keep going. Right. Ball thrown to Matt Renshaw. Huge strike into the retirement block. No. Dropped in the crowd. Matt Renshaw in the lead. He says his missus is watching him on the live stream. Here comes Matt Renshaw. Somerset opener. Australia international. He's heading off with Australia A tomorrow. Can he cap this trip to England with a mighty victory in the Thatchers Apple Run? He's over the final hurdle. Elliott's trying to gain ground, but it's Renshaw. Many congratulations, many congratulations. No controversy there. We don't need any investigations, any independent reviews from Sue Gray-Nichols or anything like that. Let's get you in then, Matt. He applauds the crowd. Matt, you look absolutely delighted.
Yeah, it was just really good to beat those Military Hall guys. A lot of chat thrown before the game, so yeah, it was nice to beat them, put them in their place.
Bit of a career highlight for you, that?
Yeah, it's probably the best moment on a career field for me. Yeah, it was very good.
Good telepathy with Alex, considering you met literally 5 seconds before it started.
Yeah, we just had great communication, great insight towards each other's games, so yeah, we had discussions and we just improved it.
Alex even went further. You didn't need to go that far, Alex.
Yeah, that's probably the 5 gins I had before we started. Yeah, but it was good, though. We won. So kept it together. Team game, it's all right.
We just tried to make it a bit closer against them. We just wanted to make them feel good.
And you're off tomorrow, is that right?
Yeah, off tomorrow to Sri Lanka, so hopefully the boys can finish off and chase well for us and give us a few catches in the crowd.
Good stuff. And you're a big Newcastle fan, Matt, aren't you?
Yeah, massive.
You probably recognise me from our 2 years as the face of NUFC TV, working for the club, so you probably recognise me?
No.
It's great to have you back, Matt. Cheers. Enjoy Sri Lanka. Right. Matt Renshaw's team, successful then in the Thatchers Apple Run. They win a case of Thatchers Gold. Many congratulations to them, and thanks to our sponsors, Thatchers Cider. The match is about to resume. Somerset need 217 to win. It's a big effort. They need your support. Get behind the lads.
How about that then? Matt Renshaw victorious, winning a crate of Thatchers. It was Gray-Nichols versus the M&H boys down there as well. Matt Renshaw running with his bat maker, bringing it home for Gray-Nichols. Great fun here at the Cooper Associates County Ground. Second innings will be starting very shortly, but before that, we've got another bit of fun for those on the live stream. How's that, Trade Nation? You all know the rules by now. I'm going to give someone a call. If they answer the phone with "How's that, Trade Nation?" straight away, I won't be prompting them. They win the prize, and what a great prize it is, donated by Trade Nation this time. It's a tour of Thatchers Myrtle Cider Farm for 4 people and 4 crates of their choice. Right, I'm going to call the number and see how we get on. I hope my phone works first and foremost. Oh, hello. Sarah, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Excellent, congratulations. Yes, you were there, primed by your phone. It's brilliant. Avoids the awkwardness. Are you? There you go. It avoids the awkwardness of having to tell someone they've lost. Congratulations, you already know then, but you won a tour of Thatchers Myrtle Farm for you, 3 others and 4 crates of your choice. Happy?
Brilliant, great, thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thoughts on the game very quickly. We're going to get back out there. Somerset boys are on the way to the middle. Tom Banton and Will Smead. 216 for 7 they need to chase. Are they going to do it? At least 100 from Tom Banton. You heard it here first from Sarah. Say again. At least 100 for Tom Banton. Sarah, thank you very much. Congratulations on your prize. Excellent work being primed by your phone.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
You too.
Great stuff.
That's what we want. We like that, Charlie Taylor. It's a bit awkward when someone doesn't say it and you kind of go, oh.
Do you remember last year we had about 4 in a row? We called it and they didn't pick up and say it. Oh, that's much more like it. Much more like it. And decent prize as well.
Oh, wonderful prize. Towards the Thatchers side of farm. Glorious. Glorious. Plenty of Thatchers, I'm sure, flowing here at the Cooper Associates County Ground.
I went to a food festival on the weekend in Burnham-on-Sea and had some very, very lovely cider.
100. We're going to hold it to that as well, Charlie. He's out there in the middle. He's at the non-strikers end, it looks like. Will Smead is going to open up. Somerset, 217 for victory. Who's going to have a bowl? Is that George Garton getting ready? I think it might be.
It will be Garton. Haven't seen Banton score big yet in this competition in his 3 games. He just, to me, at Hampshire looked like he was finding gaps nicely, playing some really well-timed shots. Could this be the one where it clicks? We've heard a lot about him. Obviously, got his England experience in there as well, alongside Will Smead, who has been great so far. 3 games, played really nicely. Hasn't gone on to those 99s, which we've talked about in the PSL, but has set the stage. And Somerset haven't had big totals to chase, and here we are now, 217 on what is a pretty good pitch to bat on. So it will be Garton early up, and it's going to start with a dot ball. Of course, we saw a maiden, so actually they scored 216 off 19 overs when you think about it, because if you ignore that maiden at the start, Somerset hoping to get off to a stronger start than that.
Yeah, they will, but George Garson will be looking to keep it tight. Made his international T20 debut over the winter, over in the West Indies. He's only 25. He's been around for so long now. He had that amazing 48 hours where he was called into the England side for the Ashes as cover back in 17-18.
Going straight through Smead. Luckily for him, not finding the edge. Shadows long now on the ground. Lights will start to take effect before too long. Quantoc's in a bit of shadow as well. Beautiful evening in Somerset.
Yeah, just picked up the 1 wicket so far, George Garton. Been a little bit expensive. 1 for 47 off 3 against Ken. 0 for 45 off 4 against Gloucestershire. But we can see that it's the same with Marchant Langer. Occasionally, quick bowlers. Garton can push 90 miles an hour, go for runs.
Smead's not getting hold of that one. Squared up a little bit. As we've got big news in the back of the box. Pete Trigo's back alongside us. Pete, your wish came true.
I'm back. I'm emotional. I'm emotional. The staff here at Somerset County Cricket Club obviously felt the emotion in my voice, and they've named something after me. I'll post it on my Twitter feed shortly, which you can both retweet. For those who are on social media, I've had a broom cupboard named after me. So thank you very much.
Smead getting hold of that one, but finding Rawlins, is it straight away? And there is no run added. That's Obed McCoy who's done the fielding. Really good work there. Came quickly to him, and there's no run. There's Felipe waits behind the stumps. He had a very good innings, 70.
Yeah, down largely in 6s, didn't he?
Yeah. Smead again finding the bat, but not timing it really well, and in the end picked up by mid-on. Bit of a diving stop, but they do come through for that first run, so at least they're off the mark. Somerset, 1 for no loss.
Yeah, and again, something a bit different for these 2 batters. We've talked about how well they've gone in the first 6 overs, but this is by far the biggest score. They're going to have to chase down, but as we saw, Sussex started with a maiden, so, you know, on this Taunton ground, any total is chaseable. So even if they don't start at a particular rate, they can make the runs up a bit later on, as long as there are wickets in hand.
Edgy front leading edge from Banton, not convincing. So very good over to start for Sussex.
Well, we should win, really, chaps. We've got 1 more than them in the first over, so going by that trend, we'll be fine.
So Somerset will require another 216, just like Sussex Sharks managed in their last 19. So already at this stage, they don't do an at this stage, do they, after the first over?
Yes, We've got Peter Trigo calling the win already, based on that. You're saying they're level.
Yeah, scores level. It's got one. No, they're ahead now.
In terms of what's needed off the next 19.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. They've just got to do exactly what Sussex did, and Somerset will win if they score the next 216 runs from the 19 overs remaining.
Right, for the first time in a Sussex Sharks shirt, then we're going to see Owen McCoy come into the attack left armour. So starting up with 2 left arm seamers. Well, he's done well.
Big lad, isn't he, McCoy?
Yeah, 1st of June now, so 29th. He was playing in the IPL.
Wow.
Rajasthan Royals, teammate of Joss Butler. We saw Joss Butler had a superb IPL, didn't he?
A bit jet lagged. This is probably the morning or something as far as he's concerned.
See what he's got.
Yeah, good ball first up.
Deep speed on the outside.
What would you like named after you here, Sam? I'm not saying it's going to happen. I can't pull those strings, but
I have a feeling that if I say what I want named after me, I won't get many Somerset staff just running up to tell me I'll get one.
I think you should get a scoreboard.
What I'd like is on the Andarche Pavilion as kids, we used to come down here all the time. We just play cricket against the side of the Andarche Pavilion when it was a car park. So I'd like that little area.
Oh, nice.
Redesignated.
The Sam Dalling wall.
Yes. Edge and 4 for Will Smeed.
Love that, Will Smeed. There's a bit of room. I think that is going to be the challenge for the Somerset batters tonight. You look at the Sussex bowling attack, you've got height, you've got pace, you've got 3 left armers, there's a bit of point difference, but like I said, these point difference bowlers can be expensive. Tamal Mills is going to be a big challenge for the Somerset batters tonight, but like I said, that extra pace can often disappear here at Taunton, but certainly Will Smeed starting with that intent that he showed against Essex, backing away and slashing hard.
Gone up, and there's a man underneath it. Delray Rawlins is a superb fielder, and he steadies himself, and he takes the catch at deep square leg. Will Smeed's night is over. He's gone for 5. Ovid McCoy has his first wicket in a Sussex shirt. Somerset 5 for 1.
That went high. That was a good catch by Delray Rawlins underneath it. Steadied himself. Never looked like in any doubt, did it? It was a really good catch. But bad news for Somerset. That's a key wicket for the Sharks. Smeed back in the hutch. 5 for 1.
Yeah.
He's middled that up.
Yeah, yes. It was a good shot upwards.
Trajectory issues there from Will Smeed as he departs for 5. Massive shame. You can sense the size. You can feel them, can't you, through the glass almost. The disappointment there. It brings to the crease the newest fan favourite, Riley Rousseau.
Yeah, Riley Rousseau's been in such good form for Somerset in the early formative stages of his Somerset career, but 81 off 54 balls against Kent, 67 off 29 against Essex, already a couple of half centuries to his name. You get a feeling it's certainly a big one for him again.
Yeah, you do. It's plenty of time as far as T20 goes. You've got 18 overs and 3 balls. Rousseau coming in first drop. Where there isn't all that much time to steady yourself though, with a total like 217 to chase down. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes about it.
Second slip gone in then. Might even be George Garton there, who's been bowling at the other end. Driven through points along the ground. Rawlins will cut it off and he'll pick up a couple.
Yeah, he didn't nail that, did he? He managed to find a bit of a gap, but it certainly didn't fly away.
Shadows. The sun is just setting, isn't it? It's almost shadows looming all the way across this vast surface at the Cooper Associates County Ground. Big crowd in, as ever, here on T20 nights. What a way to start the Jubilee weekend. Riley Rousseau is on strike. McCoy comes wide. Rousseau goes high and straight and out of the ground. Almost just hits the back of the hill. It's the short side of the ground, that Gimlet's hill. I thought he was going to go over. Not quite. Pings into the wall, but the result is the same, Charlie.
What a shot, Riley Rousseau.
Timed it beautifully, and that's why as we look at it, as I was watching the ball, I've got this great big arc of where the sun was as I was looking up and down. Now when I look around the ground, I can see where the sun was there, bright still across the ground, but beautiful shot from Rousseau.
For the offside this time, he's split the 2 fielders at point, kind of short third man, but Rawlins again, he's been in the action this over so far. Delray Rawlins. End of the over then. Somerset 15 for 1. We're going to head down to Rob in the fan village.
turn as well, so grab yourself a drink. You can even see the action from the fan village as well. You don't have to move around. And we've got supporters young and old. Where's Rob with Molly, our youngest fan? First game, 11 months old. Hasn't quite made it to the end.
No, excitement's got a bit too much for that, I'm afraid.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right, so the fan village opened for an hour after the game.
Great to have Rob down in the fan village with us this year.
This one is played over the Eels gully, and it goes for 4. Banton off the mark now. Someone who his name's been sort of used a bit around today as someone who can help chase down a big total. He's off the mark, guiding it over the inner field here.
Beginning from Tom Banton, as you said, he had that start at Hampshire. The punches he played off the back foot, he makes it look so easy when he's in form. Sarah has promised us about Tom Banton today.
Yeah, she did promise that. She said it'd be easy as well, which good confidence. Great to hear. I wonder just how that will play out. Banton readies himself again. This time punching forwards. Will only pick up a single, but it's not a bad shot. Bringing Rousseau onto strike as well, which power from both ends here. I mean, Banton, we talk about power, but he really brings you that timing as well, doesn't he? It's part of his game when we've seen him sort of scoop it off middle stump and send it for 6. Straight over the leg side. You just think that is really quite incredible shot. It's incredible timing and confidence to do it. 20 for 1 then in the third over. As Garton continues. Rousseau now facing up. Playing it out through the offside. Lovely big gap there. He's guided it really nicely. Rousseau timing it to perfection. And this Somerset innings really getting going now.
Riley Rousseau just playing himself in by the looks of it. Charlie, Sam? Gee, he looks like he's in some serious form.
Yeah, and he's had players around him as well, already been involved in 200 stands so far in these early stages of the Vitality Blast for Somerset.
Garton in again. Oh, Rousseau not getting that one, a bit of an under edge, but they will still come through for a single. Very pleased to welcome former Somerset player Tim Grunewald to the commentary box. Hi, Tim.
How you going?
Yeah, really good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. It's good to be back, and what an evening for it.
Yeah.
What an evening. You just come in here and the sun's out and the crowd's in, and there's a real good vibe, and obviously plenty of boundaries.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You'd like to be out there, would you, still?
I'm quite happy watching, to be honest, especially the carnage I saw at the end there.
This was pulled nicely by Banton. There are a couple of fielders out on the boundary, and he's picked them out, so just a single. Yeah, not a night for the bowlers, really.
Yeah, it's like that, yeah, isn't it? It's I think sometimes you're happy if you go 10s, you kind of think you've come away. That's a bit of a result. Yeah, guys, it's such a good wicket, yeah. You look at it, and you can just see by some of the shots that we played how clean some of the guys were hitting the ball. It tells you everything you need to know about the wicket. Nothing's out of reach.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one, oh, lovely little flick shot. Again, picking out the fielder on the boundary, but timing it nicely. Does seem to get in very early, Rousseau, doesn't he? Someone who times it from the off.
Yeah, and he's in good touch at the moment. So long may it continue. You know, having someone like that in the top 3. I think the way he plays and the way we've seen him over time play, he can be a bit frustrating, I think, at times, in that he is quite an aggressive player, and sometimes it looks like a rash shot or he gives his wicket away. But over the last couple of years, I know in South Africa recently, he's been very consistent, so hopefully he continues with that. You think with the likes of Banton and Smith, it's a formidable top 3.
It's a good signing for a reason, to talk about having that power there, but I mentioned it earlier on, having a left-hander in as well, early doors alongside Smeed and Banton. Yeah. If you were bowling against that 3, there's a lot of power to be worried about.
Yeah, I've nightmares thinking about him. If you think back to that game here where he must have got 150 odd. It was absolute carnage.
7-5 or something.
Was it huge? That much.
Samuel Mills then, speaking of left-handers, into the attack, and Riley Rousseau has just got on the back foot and cut him away through the covers. And with those runs, Riley Rousseau passes 6,000 in T20.
Wow.
Not a bad record.
Good going. Good going.
As Peter Trigo has disappeared. He's been telling me all season about the bruises he pulls on his inner thighs. From he used to hate facing you in the net.
On those juicy March wickets pre-season.
Mills then, who was playing so well, did so well for England in the latest T20 World Cup before, unfortunately, injury curtailed his tournament early. Into Rousseau, who's picked that up, has flicked it into the shorter leg side, and that's going to fly into the Somerset stand for 6. Riley Rousseau has his 3rd 6 of the evening, is that already? Wow, what a player he is.
I mean, there's just... He comes to the crease, and within, what's this, 8 balls now, he's moved to 26, is he on? In 8 balls? Oh.
Second 6, strike rate of 325. I was ahead of the scoreboard. Mills then. He's had a tough introduction, 10 off his first 2 balls. What's he got to come back? Cut away, but this time Delray Rawlins is there at point. It just bounced awkwardly in front of him, and it's almost hit him on the palm. Caught him in an awkward spot. And Rawlins is in a little bit of pain there to come through for a single. Lovingly, the Tanhai plays that kind of wah, wah, wah sound.
Which is a bit harsh when it's coming at you at that pace and you manage to stop it going for 4. I think it'd be a bit hard done by Rawlins.
I can't remember who it was. It was in the Essex game. So I think some poor Essex bowler bowled a wide and he had a double. Someone
played
it twice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard enough as a bowler here as it is. You don't need that.
Really is not a bowler's game. Well, although it can be. You know, you see some. We talked about Marshall Delane picking up 4 for 9.
Banton waits against Mills for the first time. Plays a nice looking shot.
Just go straight back there, Tom Banton.
Just picks up a single.
Because he's been in the championship team with a shot like that, facing up.
I think it's important for someone like Tom to just give himself that little bit of extra time, get himself in, rather than helter-skelter right from the start. Just give himself half a try. It's such a good wicket that he'll catch up very quickly here.
We don't need to. We've got Rousseau playing like that.
Yeah, sometimes now it's just about rotating strike, letting Riley face as many balls as he can.
He's on strike there, and Mills has dropped it a little bit short, and Rousseau has pulled that away. You can't quite see how far it's gone.
That has been absolutely nailed. I don't know what other words you can use for that. The timing, the power. It has. There was no doubt. That's probably still bouncing its way through towards the centre of Taunton now. Absolutely huge.
He's no slouch, Tamar Mills, but Rousseau has made that look easy. 33 he's got, 10 balls. This partnership already is 40 of 14 balls, so a very similar look to the Sussex innings, which started with a maiden. Somerset got 1 off that first over, and then suddenly there was a period of acceleration. Last ball of the 4th over. Is that going to be a wide, or is Mills going to get away with it? He gets away with it just about. Riley Rousseau, you can see, is not a fan of it. He was dancing around in his crease, which probably is why the umpire gave the bowler the benefit of the doubt. I think Mills got away with that one. I don't know. Let's ask the bowler in the box.
Yeah, I think as soon as you see batters start moving around the crease, I think the umpires start to give a little bit more leeway to the bowler. I certainly like to think that when I was still playing, you kind of feel, well, if the batter's chosen to move further away from the ball, you expect to get a little bit back.
It's harder for an umpire then, isn't it, to try and think, well, where would Rousseau have been had he not moved? Would he have been able to reach it? And I think, yeah, fair enough. Benefit of the doubt to the bowler. It doesn't always happen, does it, really? It's a bit of a tough one. But also, it's not like Mills was absolutely carted in that over, so it's not like Somerset have missed out on too much there, really.
Some guys make facing quick bowling look so easy. Rousseau looks like one of those. Yeah. Doesn't the quicker it comes, the quicker it goes.
McCoy, this one, he's flicked it in the air, and that will be the end of Tom Banton. Disappointing way to go, trying to flick it over the wicket-keeper, and in the end, getting a bit of a leading edge, and an easy catch for the bowler. So Banton departs, just 7 to his name this time.
He just didn't quite look like he had got going. I don't know, it was just a bit staccato of the innings. Tried something a little bit different, and I mean, that sums his night up, doesn't it? Tried to flick it over, probably flicked it onto his own pad. Gives Ovid McCoy his first wicket in a Sussex shirt. Change of end works.
Yeah, it was a very easy catch for McCoy. You celebrated like you would do, as you say, that first wicket. Tim, when you see batters like that trying to scoop it over. Must it feel even sweeter to get a wicket? You think you were trying to be a bit clever there?
Trying to be cute. But it's part of the game now, isn't it? You know, that little ram shot, flick shot, that's the same as playing a cover drive nowadays. It's just part and parcel of the game. And you know, another day he gets that away, and then the bowler, you know, is suddenly thinking, well, I need to get fine leg back, or I need to get my third man back, and it, you know, puts the pressure back on the bowler. So it's one of those, I suppose. It's risk and reward, isn't it?
Absolutely. Remember, you can let us know how you're watching. Streaming style, let us know at Somerset CCC, at Trade Nation. You'll find them on Twitter. Send us your pictures of your setup. Thank everyone who's been getting in touch today. Lovely to hear from you. Some power hitting from Russo. He's still there. He's been joined by Tom Abel, and these two did really well against Kent, wasn't it? The first game, these two came together and played a really well-timed innings. Let's see what they can do tonight. McCoy is in, almost edging it behind there. Tom Abel, he watches it into the wicket-keeper's hands.
Yeah, put on 121 after 73 balls for the third wicket. If you're of a Somerset persuasion, you would like a little bit of history repeated, I think.
The way Russo's going, wouldn't take him too long to get to those kind of numbers if he carries on like he has done. What are your highlights when you look back on your T20 career, Tim? What stands out?
I thought you were asking me for
Sam. Yeah, Sam. So this one just angled by.
I think just, you know, sometimes as a team, and it happened quite often for us here at Somerset, just get on a really good roll as a team. It's happening at the moment. Obviously, they're 3 from 3, hopefully 4 from 4 after tonight. But just getting on that roll as a team, and you know, where everyone kind of knows their role in the team and what's expected of you, and everything just seems to click, and it just makes turning up so much, you know, so easy. And we got on some really good rolls. We won a lot of games consecutively.
McCoy in again. Russo trying to get it back to him, sort of swiping at it a bit.
Yeah, and I think also just those being the one in those big moments. Be it, you know, you're out there batting and you need 20 off the last 2 overs, and you manage to get 15 of them away, and you get over the line with a ball to spare, or be that one who's got the ball in hand trying to defend 10. You know, those are the moments you kind of look back on and cherish the most, I suppose. Especially here at Taunton.
What can McCoy do as Russo plays this through backwards point for another 6 runs dropped in the crowd. Russo is having fun tonight. We're loving watching him as well. Score moves past 50 now, 52 for 2, and Russo is on to what, 39 is he? Wow, what an inning so far.
12 balls. You can't take your eyes off him. Even if you look down to just check social media or have a look at the YouTube stream, you look up and Riley Russo's on nearly 40. Unbelievable stuff.
How do you come back from that? McCoy will find out. He just waited for it. Slow ball, and he just dabbed it towards the fielder in the third area inside the circle, and just a single from it. So he moves to 33. 40 now, I'm sorry, the scoreboard not quite caught up here.
The slower ball bouncer, very much, it used to be a long hop, didn't it, Tim, when you first started?
Yeah, it's got the go-to ball now. I'm surprised we didn't maybe see someone Moore's bowl, a couple of them. I think Stephen Finn's coming on to bowl now. I think that's one of his go-to balls. It's the slow ball bouncer into the wicket, using the square boundaries. It's just such an effective ball. You know, especially if you've got that little bit of pace. As soon as guys see the ball go into the wicket, your natural reaction is that it's going to come off the wicket quickly. So yeah, it's a very effective ball.
You're going to see Steve Finn in the attack. He's in a good run of form himself, 2 for 28 off his 3 overs in that victory over Kent, and 2 for 15 off 4 in a losing cause against Gloucestershire. He's got Riley Russo though at the other end. It was a swing and a miss. No, not lining him up. How does that make you feel as a bowler? You come on and first ball, not even had a look.
I think running into bowl, you know, and that's the one thing with T20, that you know what the batter's coming after you, no matter what. That's one thing you used to struggle with in 50 over cricket. It was quite unpredictable as to when the batters were going to go after you. T20 cricket, you know every ball. You're in the firing line.
Finn swept. It was a kind of a slog sweep from Russo. In the end, he tickles it round the corner. There is a man up at short fine leg. It goes way to his right, and Russo has another boundary, Charlie.
Yeah, he is just dealing in boundaries, isn't he, really? Being clever, taking the strike as well at the end of the last over, deciding, yeah, I fancy this power play. It's going to be my power play. He's on 44 from what feels like barely anything. Tom Mabel happy to watch at the other end. I think I would be as well.
Yeah, and this is often, you know, as the fielding side, you'll hear things. Give him one, get him off strike, get him down there. But where is that one? Where do you bowl the ball to someone like Riley Rousseau right now, the form he's in? Where's that ball? Is it, you know, a wide Yorker with the deep point out, or is it you just want to get him off strike? But every ball you seem to bowl goes out the ground.
Just like that one, short pulled by Riley Rousseau. He moves to 50. He gets a huge cheer from this large crowd at the Cooper Associates County Ground. And no wonder, Riley Rousseau, 50 now, after 17 balls.
17 ball 50.
3 fours, 5 sixes. We'll have to do a bit of checking to see if that's the quickest Somerset half century. I reckon Chris Gale might have something to say about that, but wow, what a knock from Riley Rousseau so far. More classical shot, punched through point. Delray Rawlins is there at backward point doing the fielding. First chance of Somerset La 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 are out there. That would get your juices going, Tim, when you heard that on a T20 night?
You know, you're doing all right.
Oh, it's a beautiful evening. Sun beaming into the box here. Crowd having a great night. Bank holiday tomorrow. Make the most of it. Might be a few sore heads given the cider flowing, I'm sure, here on a beautiful summer's evening. Did you get into cider, Tim, while you were playing here? Did you local stuff?
Didn't really have a choice. Fridges are stacked with it.
Abel waits then. Pushes it to cover, so a rare dot ball in this innings. I mean, it's going to be a big matchup, this Stephen Finn. Big signing from Middlesex over the winter. Really experienced T20 bowler, Steve Finn. You're still local as well, Tim, aren't you?
Yeah.
Just over the road?
Yeah, just over the road. Cooper Associates, in the world of finance now.
How are you finding it? Enjoying it?
Yeah, loving it. Loving it.
Abel looks for that scoop that Joss Butler has almost termed the Abel scoop. There's trouble here. Oh, Riley Rousseau forward about a single. Abel turned him down, waved his hand in apology. Man at mid-wicket, I think it might have been George Garton, left-hander, came across as a bit of a gun fielder, shy at the stumps. If that had hit Charlie Taylor, that would have been the end of Riley Rousseau.
Would have been a real sad end. I mean, Sussex would have been absolutely thrilled, obviously, but that would have been a bad way to get out when you're in that kind of form. You've just hit 17 ball 50, but I think, for me, I think Abel's probably right. They might have scampered through, but I mean, it was always close, wasn't it?
I would say when you've got off to a flyer like this and you have lost the 2 wickets, there's no need for his runner. You know, the pace that Riley Rousseau could bat at and Tom Abel down the line, you certainly don't want to run it.
Well, he's still there.
Yeah, that's the good news.
From a Somerset perspective. He's unbeaten on 51.
And that's the thing, he would have lost the strike as well, or at the moment, you kind of want him facing every ball. So, in the end, good news for Somerset. He's on strike and he didn't get out.
A little bit of spin then for Sussex for the first time. I think it's going to be Archie Lennon and his leg spin. He wasn't even alive when the Vitality Blast started in 2003. No. Does that make you feel old?
Dear, oh dear. All driven nicely. Could be 4. Will be. Diving attempt to no avail. And Rousseau just not having a look, not thinking what's the ball doing from the spinner. No, driving straight down the ground. It's a lovely shot. Get a replay of it here. Just quick bat speed. Pace on it as this one goes down the leg side. Will be given as well.
It's a tough place to bowl spin here at Taunton, just with the size of the boundaries, the wicket's so true. And when they're as good as this wicket, it's just that there's not a lot of room for error.
Sweep, reverse swept, and picking the gap. Oh, that'll go for 4 as well. I thought it was going to be picked up in the inner circle. Yeah, trickles over the boundary. Wow, what an innings we're watching tonight. This is special. This is very special. 73 for 2. Rousseau is in a hurry.
Yeah, he really is. I mean, it's hard to find the superlatives, as Tim was saying. Tough introduction for Archie Lennon. Preferred to Will Beer in the Sussex side this season. Got some quality around him, but this is going to be a difficult ask.
Straight back over the bowler's head. That's going to race away. Boundaries flowing at Taunton. Rousseau just walks away. Doesn't even look at Tom Abel, who's run all the other way down the to his end. Just walks away. Another boundary. He's in the zone. Doesn't want to be taken out of that zone.
No, he doesn't, rightly so. The skipper goes over. Ravi Bopara, all his experience, just gives the youngster a pat on the back. He's still only 17. This is only his 15th game of T20 cricket.
So Rousseau using that extra experience he's got. It's a full toss. Reverse swept, picks out the fielder this time. Think about a single. It's not on.
Got away with one there.
Yeah, he certainly did.
I think that what this highlights as well is you know, like I said, it's a tough place to bowl spin. It highlights how good the likes of Rilla van der Merwe are and Max Waller. You know,
pulled, but only to the fielder. Come through for a single.
Yeah, to play half your games here as a spinner in T20 cricket and do as well as they have over a long period of time. You know, your skill levels have to be really high, and also just good under pressure. Constantly under pressure as a spinner. Yeah.
Tom Abel, he doesn't mind facing spin either. Let's see how he does. Darted in a bit quicker there and picking out the man at short cover, and in the end a dot ball. So Abel struggling to get off the mark. Rousseau flying at the other end.
I'm just having a look. This partnership's worth 33 off 17 balls. Rousseau's got 31 of them.
Yeah.
12.
And there's been wide in there as well.
But that's fine, actually. Abel can afford to do that.
Absolutely.
He's an experienced cricketer. He knows to actually let Rousseau get on with it and make sure he's there at the end if required.
Yeah, absolutely. Get in whilst you're sort of nurdling those singles. As long as you're not chewing up the balls, chewing up the strike. Perfect partnership.
Speaking of the Essex skipper, this is the Essex skipper, sorry, the Sussex skipper.
Easy mistake to make.
Easy mistake to make. Here's a man who very much was alive when the first blast started. It's Ravi Bopara bringing himself into the attack. Just looking to, I mean, we saw in the first innings, Somerset were really effective with those slower balls pace off, and that's what Ravi Bopara is all about. He's got Riley Rousseau.
Well, he's generating his own pace, isn't he, Rousseau?
Inside edge there. Gets a single to the man at deep square leg.
Rate at the moment required 10.7. So that's doable, or very much doable on this wicket. They've done a good job, Somerset, staying on top of that. 78 off 7 overs and 1 ball. Just 2 wickets down, both openers, neither of them really having an impact, but I think Somerset are on 78. Rousseau himself is on 64. That gives you an idea of how this game's played out.
Abel then. Somerset skipper, he's got 1. He's been patient so far. Keeper up. Just flicks it into the gap. They'll think about a couple. Abel's quick. Rousseau's quick too. That's a comfortable 2, isn't it? Clever cricket.
Yeah, Rousseau won't mind that either. Gives him a bit of a break, if anything. The 2s pick up from Tom Abel.
Short fine leg, short third man in as well. That Abel scoop. Sammy just pushes it to the tall figure of Steve Finn, who gets down the long barrier. I like that. We don't see the long barrier enough anymore.
It's gone out of fashion, hasn't it?
Oh, not when I play. It's the only thing I know.
Get everything.
Rely on that. Just get everything behind the ball.
I've done this so early. It still usually ends up on my knees or something like that.
Oh, there's a great big thud when it hits your knee, your kneecap, isn't it? You just know. But yeah, no, I'm always big fan of the long barrier.
Bopara to Rousseau. Short. Oh, and he's almost managed to find it. It was short, and Rousseau has tried to push that away into the offside, and it's just fallen short of George Garton. No, it's not. It's Tom Alsop at cover. Apologies. Bopara nearly had his 250th T20 wicket. It's not bad, is it?
Oh, that's very good. Very, very good. Would have been a big change in the game there if Rousseau had got out. Fingers crossed it's not for a while yet, though.
Swept from outside off stump, and he split the man and long on and deep mid wicket. Picked up another boundary. Riley Rousseau, something he wanted 36.
He just hits it so blooming hard. Everything just gets absolutely smashed when he wants to. Oh dear. Somerset doing very well. 86. What's that, 69 for Rousseau, is it?
69 with 26 balls, Charlie.
69 from 26.
7 fours, 5 sixes, 265 strike rate. He is already proving his weight in gold for Somerset. This time he has got it past that man. Cover Tom also tipped it around the post, but it was hit so hard. He moves into the 70s.
How are we talking about him in the 70s already? This is incredible stuff. Wurzl's playing out around the ground.
Talked about this. I can't do the math quickly, but 81 off 54, 67 off 29, 26 off 20. Sedate up at the Aegis Bowl on Monday, and here 73 so far, 27 balls rolling. So
it was tough here as well. As Tom Abel at the other end. It's great to watch from the other end, but also to try and work out the tempo that you've got to play at. You kind of feel like all the work's been done down the other end, but at some point you're going to want to get going, or in some cases you see batters at the other end feel they have to try to go at the same pace, and that's where you can see like wickets fall in clusters, and that's a key that Abe gets himself in there and just supports Riley while he's in there.
Going to see a bit of spin. This is played out nicely into the leg side. Just a single, that's all Tom Abel will want there. And easy single as Rawlins comes on to a bit of spin. Of course, Peter Trigo picked out Tom Abel to be the top scorer tonight. So, I mean, there's still time, Pete. Playing himself in, 5 off 8, that is now, compared to Rousseau's 73 from 27. In comes Rawlins again to Rousseau, flicking it into the leg side. Just a single. 126, 125 now, still needed to win this one. But Rousseau 74 now, still there, looking very, very dangerous. Already the game's top scorer, isn't he? Abel sweeping, oh, he's got away with it there. Just picking up top edge, taking it over the stumps and the wicket keeper. Come through for a single.
brilliant to have almost 20,000 people on the live stream at the moment, Charlie. Interesting, the Vitality Blast is as high as it's ever been.
Scooping, Rousseau could be out. It's gone. It's a great catch from Tamal Mills, and it was very low down. He got his hands underneath it. And Rousseau trying something we hadn't seen, trying to play it behind square, trying to scoop it. He's got his angles wrong, and that is the end of Rousseau's innings.
You could see from the celebrations, Tamal Mills and Delway Rawlins just kind of ran away, pumping his fists. They know how big. It's obvious that's a huge wicket for Sussex, and the Cooper Associates county ground just fell silent. You can hear the applause now as Rousseau trudges off. They would have been hoping that was another 8-9 overs later, but he's only dropped 74.
What a platform he's set, but Somerset are now 3 down, so just got to be a bit careful. Can't come out all guns blazing straight away and risk losing another couple quickly.
This is where what Tim was saying comes into play. You know, suddenly Tom's been out there a while, but he's only on 6, so you're almost in a situation where you've got 2 new batters, or 2 batters who haven't got going yet.
It was absolutely great to watch. I remember that for a long time. Riley Rousseau, the way he came out with such intent. Tom Abel will feel now, you're talking about that pace there, you know, Sam saying, well, it's like 2 new batters, but actually Abel, is that now sort of an instant switch he's going to have to change?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, the onus has got to be on someone. You can't have 2 guys kind of like seeing out a few overs.
Lamb being the new man who's driving straight away here to run on.
Obviously, Rousseau's set the platform there and set Somerset up nicely, but now I think Abe's all, you know, he'll go about this in his normal way. He's an absolute class act when it comes to chasing down totals and, you know, sucking up the pressure and getting the team home.
Single here to Abel, who moves on to 7. Lamb will be there on 195 for 3 from 9 overs, so above where Sussex were at this point, but pretty much on target for where they're going.
11.09 runs required for Somerset. I think we're going to have a streaming style winner. Yes, we are. There we go. Looks like a cracking setup, that.
Oh.
With the dog enjoying some cricket. Fantastic to Chris at King Gids. he's won himself a Somerset shirt. Congratulations, Chris. First Streaming Star winner of the evening. Steve Finn is going to continue. Tom Abel on strike on 7. Tim, you were in and around the Somerset side at the time, because Tom wasn't initially a T20 player. It suddenly seemed to click for him in 18-19.
Yeah, came into the side very much as a 4-day player and into the squad. His game was kind of set up for that, I think, primarily for that. And like so many players, had to adapt and adjust their games and improve and find a way. And Abe's works incredibly hard at his game, and he wasn't willing to sit back and just be a 4-day player. And we've seen in recent times some of the knocks he's played has been sensational. He's really taken his game to another level.
Yeah, and the big occasions as well. Yeah. Slam and beat, flicks in to the leg side. Well, if someone like Josh Butler is doing an interview saying, yeah, I gave Tom Abel a ring to ask him how he plays the ramp shot, I mean, you can have no higher praise, can you? Very adept at that scoop. Came back, missed a lot of this competition through injury, didn't he, that hamstring injury, but came back in the quarterfinals, and that's 78 and 45 balls here against Lancashire. Super knock, 50 in the semi-final, 2 against Hampshire. Driven into the onside. Delray Rawlins, though, is a very quick man across the turf to keep it to a single.
Yeah, obviously spent a couple of years down at Kent, back in my career after being at Somerset, and chatting to the guys there. On quite a few occasions came up against Somerset, and they found Abe's incredibly hard to bowl at. They just said where a lot of guys you can bowl that through those middle overs and kind of get dot balls, and you can get them to knock you for 1. He's always hitting gaps, and he's always hitting over cover, and he's got his ramp shots, and he just makes it. He keeps the scoreboard going at a really good rate through those middle overs.
How does that change your mindset as a bowler, knowing you've got a batter so adept at that ramp shot?
Yeah,
Cover drive, but good bit of fielding.
Yeah, it just means you need that one extra player back. So like here in Stephen Finn's case, he's got his fine leg back because he knows Tom Abel will play that ramp shot, so he needs that protection. But it then means your mid-off's up in the circle, or you've got your sweep up on the offside. It just puts you under that little bit more pressure in other areas of the ground.
Final ball then at the 10th over of Somerset innings, 99 for 3. Short, an uppercut will give Tom Abel the benefit of the doubt there.
I think so. I think he sort of flick of the wrist, just guiding it upwards.
So 10 overs gone now. Somerset 103 for 3, and I think Rob is down in the crowd for us very shortly.
Of the Ondarchi stand with Gary, coach at Nailsea Cricket Club. The kids who formed a guard of honour, very excitable. Gary, how good a night has this been?
It's been amazing. Great experience for the kids. This is what we always aspire to be, so absolutely fantastic.
Guys, give us a cheer.
Rawlins in. Single down the ground. Obed McCoy does the fielding. So this game evenly poised. Somerset need 11.5 and overs. Runs and over. 3 wickets down. Tom Abel, the skipper, he's got 13. Tom Lammonby is on 4. And there's that reverse sweep from Tom Abel. It's gone up. There's a man sweeping on the offside, does very well. Makes good ground. George Garton there. Very quick in the field. With someone like Abel then, Tim, would you still bowl the ball? No, if you've got the ramp, you can play the ramp shot, but you've got cover. Because you've got a man less elsewhere as Rawlins comes in. So Abel just pushes it into the leg side. They think about a couple. They're both quick, but it's a short boundary there, and they only get a 1. Would you then bowl the ball, thinking it's a ball to get just a single off?
Yeah, personally, against someone like Tom Abel, who I feel, he's got the ramp shot, and I think he's very good square of the wicket as well. I'd probably look to be on the fuller side to him.
Lammonby plays just like reverse dab, where he's almost played it straight back into the ground. Picks up a single though.
Yeah, I would want to mix it up to him. So I'd be pace off and on the fuller side, trying to get him to hit down the ground. He's a very strong square of the wicket.
to the strike now. Reverse sweeps, but doesn't get hold of it. Steve Finn at backward point gets all the way down, keeps it to a single. Welcome back, Peter Traeger. What do you reckon? Evenly poised this one, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic viewing. Watching Riley Rousseau go about his business. He's obviously settled into UK conditions and timings quite nicely. It's been amazing to watch. Odd against him in a few games, more 50 over comps where you think, Jesus, this guy's dangerous, but I don't think I've seen him strike it as well as he has in these first 4 games for Somerset. So real good signs for the competition. I think Somerset are right in with this. I think if you reflect on the way Sussex's innings went about, it was 10 and over for this same sort of period. There was a little bit of a rebuild and then that big boost at the end, and Somerset seriously have the firepower to chase this total. Gregory, Green, Van der Merwe, the big fighter pilot, De Lange. I mean, he can hit a long ball as well, so it's certainly not out of range. And Tom Abel, as Grunners was saying, I was listening to Grunners, you know, he's so good at chasing the total. He knows what to do. He also knows when to panic. There's always a perception when you're out on the field that you'll feel like you're in a worse position, but like I said, it's almost like for like at the moment. So I think Somerset are in a good space.
Yeah, 63 Sussex got off the last 4 overs. So even if Somerset are up there at 150, they'd only have to match what Sussex did. I mean, it doesn't always work like that.
Yeah, I think in fairness, the last over did, you know, what did that chap get? You know, 25, Ward, 23 or 5 balls. I mean, that is something that Mystic Trigo's crystal ball didn't allow for, but you know, it certainly put them sort of 10, 15 above par. I genuinely felt 200 was comfortable. I think 216 is verging on the uncomfortable, but like I said, certainly not out of the abilities of this lineup. Do you agree with that, Grunners?
I do. I think if Somerset can get somewhere around the 160 mark 3 down, it'll put them in a great position to finish off. These two it comes down to wickets in hand, doesn't it? We know if you're the bowling side, you never feel comfortable if you're not taking wickets here, because you know those last 5 overs, wickets in hand, you know, anything's chaseable at Taunton.
Yeah, I said earlier, I think I didn't feel like I was getting much back from Sam earlier. I said the only way to stem the flow is to take wickets at Taunton.
Yeah.
I think it is, isn't it? You know, you can. You know, Ben Green bowled some great overs, and then you look up and it went for 12. You're like, how did that happen? You can genuinely bowl technically a great over and still go for a double-figure score. Well, that was always my excuse anyway. What was yours, Grunners?
I'm taking 12 and over.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, we've both seen some high-quality bowlers get absolutely dealt with. I remember, you know, standing at the other end watching Trez take apart. Was it Abdul Razak when he got a 13-ball 50 here at Taunton?
Yeah.
I think that day we chased 217 in 18 overs. I mean, it's just one of those grounds that once you find your touch, as Riley Rousseau showed. I mean, there's not one person out there that would say that Tom Abel doesn't have the ability that matches Riley Rousseau. So he's more than capable of taking this Sussex bowling attack down. And
220 he chased that day with 2 overs remaining.
Crackers, wasn't it? Avi Rapara going into bowl there to Tom Lammonby, a wily operator, bowls a lot of off-pace deliveries. Off such a short run-up, he can actually generate quite a decent sort of skiddy, quicker ball, but bowls a lot of back-of-the-hand slow balls and cutters. I think they'll need all of those. But I think actually they're big bowlers. You know, Stephen Finn's very tall, but actually their other 3 seamers are quite samey, aren't they? Both left-armers.
Pace on.
Bowl a lot of short balls as well, which, let's face it, if you bowl short and Taunton, you can really disappear. So plenty to play for here at the halfway stage.
Here is one of them coming back into the attack. Tamal Mills, just his second over, went for 18 in his first, but Riley Rousseau was in at that stage. He is no longer there. He's returning at the river end, and just a little bit of momentum tipping in Sussex's favour. 8 runs off each of the last 3 overs, 5 from Delray Rawlins before, so that run rate required is up to 12.25. Lammonby gives himself some room, but gets an under edge. We saw Lammonby's quality in T20 in that knock against Gloucestershire here last year. He was superb, wasn't he?
Yeah, it certainly was. It was a great knock, but the challenge is to replicate that time and time again. Yeah, show a bit of consistency. consistency, he's got the ability, no doubt. But these are the matches where you really need to show your worth. I always remember playing in the dressing room with Timmy G. Timmy Grunewald always used to love facing fast bowlers.
Oh.
When Tamal Mills was getting loose, Timmy, let me go in, captain. I'll face him for you.
These are the days that I miss, especially the quicks.
Abel on strike. Drives it straight to Ravi Bapara, I think it is, at cover. I keep saying it. The Sussex skipper has caught the Somerset skipper. Tom Abel has to go for 23.
Yeah, it looked like a slower ball. He's well famed for that back of the hand slower ball. I think that was one of them. Yeah, it certainly was. Tom Abel was there just a fraction earlier. Good shot. You'd have to say it was marginally unlucky, but he's picked out Ravi Bapara. He didn't have to move. Very unfortunate end for Thomas Abel. Out for 23. Somerset 120 for 4. Just over the halfway stage here. This chase is very much on. 97 required. The final 7.4 overs. Definitely on. And this man will certainly give it his all. Roloff van der Merwe striding out to the crease. And there's one thing, you know, when Swerve comes out to bat, the ball could literally go in any direction, and not always the direction he's trying to hit it.
Yeah, bit of promotion for him today, but that's what the beauty of this Somerset lineup is there's so much flexibility. We saw Van der Merwe come out of 3 in some games last year. He knows where the boundary rope is, and so much experience as well. He's been in situations like this before. Quite impressive.
Yeah, in his head, his head will be bouncing off the sides. Beans will be going everywhere. It'll be a ball of energy. I can remember that, ridiculous 150 he scored here in that one-day game against Surrey. He played the only ever pull shot that went off the middle of the bat over backward point. I don't think I've ever seen anyone else do that.
Can't set a field to that though. As he pushes into the offside. Dot ball. So was he like in the changing room? Is he one of those you just kind of lock in a room and let him bounce around on his own?
Yeah, he's a big ball of energy. What would you say, Gordon? Would you back me up on that one?
Yeah, he's always on the go. Always, messing around and full of energy, and you want him out on the field as much as possible. If he's in the changing room too much, there's a bit of carnage caused.
He can do some damage as well, serious quality. One of very few players to have played for 2 countries, South Africa and then Holland. He's been at Somerset a long time now, started in the Champions League way back when. Gets off the mark. Mills just tucks him up for room.
I think this is what you get with someone like Tamal Mills. He's an X-factor player. This is what you want in your sides. They're going to be days where he goes for a few runs because he bowls quickly, and it can go quickly off the bat like it did when Rousseau was batting, but then comes back and the captain needs a wicket and he gets the vital wicket of Tom Abel. And, that's what you want from your X-factor players.
And it's just brilliant to see him out there, isn't he? He's had such rotten luck with injuries throughout his career.
Yeah. He's good to watch. He's, I'd rather watch him than face him.
Tom Lammonby has to face him, and he tried to give himself some room, but Mills followed him. They're going to pick up a couple, though. That's good running. It's a couple of leg byes, just fired it in at his pads. Delroy Rawlings had almost 100 metres to sprint in and pick up a couple.
Just seriously good over here from Tamal Mills so far, showing all his experience. He's bowled some fast Yorkers into the feet, and those slower balls into the pads again. There's not really much. It's just the difference in the pace is staggering. I mean, genuinely would wake up the day before the game with the old cold sweat thinking about facing Tamal. 90-mile-an-hour ball, which obviously takes your full attention, and then a slower ball that can make you look stupid. But he's gone for the on-pace delivery, and Tom Lammonby has slashed that over backward gully for a 1-bounce 4. That's a great end to the over. A little bit of momentum now carried into the next over. That was desperately needed after a really, really slow over for Somerset.
Yeah, they needed that, as you said.
I just feel like I was, once I got into the flow, I was the one that would just say, look, get me on strike, I'll just go. Whereas I know other people are able to go up and down the gears. I would suggest that if Swerve goes, he's just if he hits 5th gear, the clutch gets stuck and he's off. Whereas Lammers is a bit more of a touch player. He's got a power game, but he's also got the touch shots, the ramps, and various things like that. I know Rolf ramps in his own unique fashion. Normally ends up with him doing some sort of roly-poly a la Olga Corbett, but it's kind of he's just mad, isn't he? But yeah, I think you're not chasing 13 without both of you dovetailing well together. Lammers right on cue, plays a beautiful ramp shot, 1 bounce 4 over short fine leg. He had no chance, and that really is the quality of Tom Lammerby, to do that to someone bowling 85, 88 miles an hour at the height of Stephen Finn. He's got his confidence to trust his ability to play that shot. But yeah, you're right, T. You have to, you're not chasing 13s without you both going. It's basically 2 boundaries and over.
Yeah.
There's the second one.
There's the second, right on cue, Sam. Sorry, mate.
Jinx, padlock.
The excitement. You can't padlock me when I've got this microphone on, my friend.
I've got the button. 6 for Tom Lammerby. That's just what Somerset needed as well, isn't it?
There haven't been many misfits this evening, have there? Everything seems to be 20 rows back.
No, it's mad, isn't it? I mean, we were saying this. I had Jamie Cox up here the other game, and he was like, I can't remember seeing a 6 hit onto the top of the Caddick stand. He's like, I was like, we haven't been here for the last few years, have you? Because so every other over, there's one disappearing onto the Pegasus building or up here over Botham stand. Yeah, the lads have fine-tuned the ability to hit 6s, that's for sure. As Rolf van der Merwe runs 1 all to himself, as only Rolf van der Merwe can. Scampered down there like a crab, spun around and sprinted back.
Yeah, Lammerby just starting to pick up the pace before that ball. He hit 14 off his previous 3. Talked about Somerset needing to go, and Lammerby is. Just a single though. Drive down the ground to mid-off. What is that? Subfielder on?
Yeah, it's Carter.
Ah, the long hair, there we go, Ollie Carter, yes. Played a little bit in the Royal London Cup. The keeper, yeah. So many young players in that Sussex side these days. What's coming through their academy?
There is the van der Merwe slog over mid-wicket that somehow goes over 3rd man for 6. Rolf van der Merwe does it his own way, but it's very effective that time. A brilliant over there from the Somerset perspective. Tamal Mills bowled a beauty. Stephen Finn has gone for how many, Sam?
He's gone for 18, Peter.
18. Perfect. And all of a sudden, those 2 overs combined get us to that 10, 12 runs and over we require.
Got the second stream in style win. Are they outside on there? Where are they, Peter? I can't quite see the screen.
That looks like Nepal.
Matthew Powell, wherever you are, you have won a Somerset shirt.
I'm not even joking. That looks like the fishtail in Nepal.
Look, we'll find out. Matthew Powell, let us know where you are.
I reckon he's in a little village called Pucara.
Incredible.
I could be it could be like Cheddar, but I actually think that is where he is.
Say something with enough confidence.
If that's right, that would be
very good.
I'm guessing you've been there, that you know that.
Yes, I'm going to have to speak. I'm going to have to get in touch with my geography teacher and upgrade my E grade to a C, if that's the case. Ravi Bapara taking pace off. Tom Lammerby slapping it down the ground to mid-off. As we pick up another single, all of a sudden that equation starts to look more possible. 72 runs required off the remaining 6 overs. All of a sudden,
spot on
12. You know what? Somerset are playing a pretty good chase here at this stage. If these two can pop on another 30, 40 runs together, it's game on. Again, pace off right into the block hole. Van der Merwe belting it down the ground again to mid-on. Only a single.
Well, you were right, he's not in this country, But he's in Italy, he's in the Dolomites.
Oh,
by the looks of things.
Close. That was a pretty spiky looking. That was nearly my moment. Anyway, moving swiftly on. It did look. It was definitely a mountain. Can we confirm it was a,
It was a mountain. Yeah, it was a mountain.
And it was quite a spiky one.
It wasn't cheddar. We can confirm that.
I'm gonna have to Google the mountain. I thought it was. No, I'm not.
Just 2 runs off this over from Ravi Papara, all his experience.
He's going to have to accept defeat. Ravi Papara going into bowl. Hiding the ball with his hands. Normally after a spell of Ravi hiding the ball with his hands, the ball starts swinging miraculously. He's good at shining the ball, is Ravi, isn't he?
Very cagey customer. Very effective white ball bowler, isn't he?
He's very effective.
I think he's just so unpredictable, isn't he? You know most of it's going to be pace off, but then he fires that, that quicker ball, in which you set him for the slower ball.
It's interesting if you watch him.
Pace off.
The way he covers the ball there, as a batter, he's bowling those split finger knuckle balls and all the different skills he's got. So he doesn't give you a tell as a batter when he's running up that he's going to bowl something like that. Also does make shining the ball a little bit easier, doesn't it, Timothy?
Certainly does.
Partnership worth 30 now, they're not 15 balls, so there's nothing wrong with the strike rate, they just need to keep going.
Yeah, these overs from Bapara are key here. They are key, and he's got 1 more over to go.
End of the 15th over then, so Somerset are on 150 for 4, 5 overs remaining. Good over there from Ravi Bapara, just 5 off it. And that run rate, you can see, so volatile at this stage of the game, it's just jumped from 12 to 13.4, so Somerset need another big over. Tim?
Yeah, I think, and they're playing, Taunton, there's always that over of 20, 22 knocking about. Hopefully this is the one for Somerset, but it just gets that rate back down. With 4 overs to go, even if you need 12, 13s, it's very doable, especially with the wickets in hand and the type of players to come for Somerset.
Obed McCoy then back into the attack. West Indian overseas star. Just finished his stint with the Rajasthan Royals in the IPL. Now over here, Sussex have got 5 overseas on their books for this competition. Josh Philippi, Mohammed Rizwan, who's gone off to play for Pakistan. Tim Seifert as well is over as cover. He's going to cover for Josh Philippi, and Rashid Khan is arriving after the Afghanistan series. So they're chopping and changing. It's McCoy today who's changed ends. Got in position for the ramp so early there, almost before McCoy had reached the crease. And the slower ball came out, but more importantly from the Sussex perspective, it's a dot.
He did show his hand very early there, did Lammers. Stay still and whack it over Cow, my friend. Come on.
Nick it past the keeper.
Either way will do from the Somerset perspective. Another slower ball. And he was shaping up to whack it over Cal there, wasn't he?
Yeah, it tells me that he's got a bit of mystery, this fella, with his slower ball. Doesn't look like Lammers is picking it up, and he's been in a while now, so he should be. As we see a replay of Van der Merwe's. He has no idea where he's going, Ruller. I love him. I love him. What a man. We'll technically break down that shot a bit later, I think, self stage.
Might take a few days.
Yes,
all pace off at the moment.
Be really interested if we can get a slow-mo of that slower ball as well, how that's coming out the hand. It's obviously deceiving both batsmen at the moment. Here we go, Rudolph, back and across, high left elbow. He's looking over Cow corner. Oh, hang on, wait a minute. There we go.
Only one man who can do that.
Slower again. Van der Merwe has to wait and swats it away to the offside. So these precious low-scoring balls here from Sussex. Just 2 of Obed McCoy's third over so far.
Yeah, you kind of, you know, with this volume of slow balls coming at the moment, you kind of, it's such a hard thing to do when when you know someone's got a decent amount of pace, is to set for a slower ball and react to a quicker one. It's really hard to do. Lammers clips that. He hasn't clipped it far enough, and it's straight down, deep square legs, throat, and he takes the catch. A really, really good over here from a Sussex perspective. A shame there. Tom Lammerby was looking good, but he's been bogged down the last few balls, which will bring the dangerous Lewis Gregory to the crease. Quite looking forward to seeing Lewis. If anyone can hit a slow ball a long way, it's Lewis. He's very, very good at that shot. This game is still very much in the balance. Somerset 152 for 4. Just over 4.1 overs to go, 65. It's still not out of the realms of possibility, but it's going to take something special from Rodolphe van der Merwe, and maybe in particular Lewis Gregory. You know how much of a clean striker with the ball is. I mean, he played some phenomenal knocks, didn't he, Tim?
Yeah, what a good striker of the ball. And like, I was going to ask you, I was going to say, you know, we always used to say it's tough to come in at the back end of an innings and get going from the start. It's just, you know, they need to go nearly 16 and over. But I think, you know, the way the game's gone, guys are finding themselves in this position more often, coming in and having to go from ball one, needing 15 and over. And this is where you see the real quality of guys coming out and managing
yeah,
to
I think people train for it now, don't they?
Yeah.
It's like you will actually specifically go in straight away cold into a net, and it'd be a death scenario.
Yeah.
And you know, back in the day, you know, yes, you would practice the big shots, but it was always at the end of a knock after you've done a bit of high elbow and back and across.
Yeah.
Now it's very much part of the game. It's a massive part of the game. Lewis Gregory hits his first ball straight down long on's throat, and tonight will not, unfortunately, be Lewis Gregory's night. Somerset lose another wicket, 2 in 2 balls. What a shame, we're in such a good position, and now it's going to take something special from the men that are left. Ben Green is on his way to meet Rodolphe van der Merwe. Still a lot of quality in the tank in the Somerset lineup, but it's looking increasingly more difficult. Like I said, if you were chasing 200,
I was going to say they keep coming though. Ben Green, like
good
saw at finals day last year what he can do, and then you've got Josh Davey, what he can do, and Rashant De Lange. You know, if you need 18 off the last over, he could do it.
I just think with the equation at the moment, you're really getting a sense. I know you can't pinpoint certain aspects of the game or overs, but that last massive over. Well, you know, if you're chasing 200 and you've got 50 to get off of 5 overs, that, you know, that's an equation that's quite comfortable in your head. Whereas that extra 16 runs really did do quite a lot of damage. And just put the players under pressure as Tamal Mills comes into Rodolphe van der Merwe. Ball's a very short ball. Looks like it might have been over the head there, but the bowler's got away with it. But he's used his one for the over.
That's what we're talking about. That's 90 mile an hour short ball, and the next one's 63 mile an hour at the back of the hand. And you don't quite know what to set for.
It was that Ravi Papara over, a couple of overs back. Tom Lammerby just got going. Hit Steve Finn for 18. Papara kept it to 5, and Obed McCoy comes back 2 wickets in the over and just went for the 2 runs. And Sussex Sharks very much on top now, looking to close out a win.
McCoy's definitely, you know, as an overseas player coming in, he's definitely hit the ground running there. And you can see he's come out the RPL. His skill levels are really high. He's not come in and, you know, had to find his feet. He's literally hit the ground running and produced pretty much a match-winning spell.
Yeah, he's certainly got that sort of next level, that X-factor ability that we talk about. So valuable for any team to have someone that can bowl in this nature. But we have Rodolphe van der Merwe. What can he do? As he top edges one up into the evening sky. And it is taken. Unfortunately, the wheels seem to be coming off the Somerset innings. It was all looking pretty well set about 10 balls ago, but that is the nature of T20. It's dramatically changed, and all of a sudden, Somerset have got a massive task in front of them, even with the likes of Rashant De Lange coming to the crease. It's a tall order.
Oh, they slipped from 152 for 4 252 for 7. Space of just 5 balls. Tall order. Just putting it kindly. It's going to take something miraculous from here.
And that is not good, Sam, I don't think. But there is a little bit of good news. I just had a message through. A friend of mine, Stephen Tinian, getting married tomorrow, I believe. Hope you have a great day. Celebrate well. But make sure make sure you're in the runs on Saturday, because it doesn't count. Let's get runs on Saturday as well. No honeymoons.
Have you got any runs recently on a Saturday?
well, Timothy. Yeah, I'm still feeling the effects of Saturday, Tim. It was one of the good days. I've been facing a lot of Grunewald-esque nit-backers this season, so it was nice to get a few out the middle. Mr. Mill runs into bowl. De Lange steps away, and that is now 4 wickets for no run. The Somerset innings is capitulating.
Yeah, it's just he's struggled to gather any momentum since Abel and Rousseau were together. So they've struggled to kind of get those partnerships going and get some meaningful.
It's been superb. I mean, look, only one of the last 9 overs has gone for double figures. So there was that over from Stephen that went for 18, but other than that, the best over has been gone for 8, and that all came after Riley Rousseau fell his early fireworks. Look very much like they're going to be in vain. Been a brilliant performance from Sussex. It just shows how quickly T20 can change. There was 22 balls. There was the momentum at the end. 22 runs off the last 4 balls, but they've just got such a quality bowling attack, and they're showing it here. Come through for a single, and it was nearly 5 wickets without a run. Direct hit from George Garton at backward point would have run Ben Green out. Josh Davey gets off the mark.
Josh Davies invited Ben Green to a barbecue. Unfortunately, Garton there doesn't take the invite as well. Yeah, that would have been a frosty dressing room. I don't think JD's the type of lad that would enjoy getting run out, is he, Timmy G?
He's not. He is a miserable man. Josh Davey.
as all bowlers are. From Taunton to Marl Mills, another rocket and a really, really fine over. Changing the game these last 4 overs, like we've discussed, that's 4 wickets for 1 run. Really, really pegged back Somerset's challenge, and it looks like the game might be drifting away with only 3 overs to go. Nothing is impossible in this crazy game. 20 and over might be as close as possible as you can get against a really good bowling attack.
Yep, Owen McCoy's led it so far on his debut, fresh from leading Rajasthan Royals into the IPL final at the weekend. He's got 4 for 24 from just 3 overs, and he's on a hat-trick here, 2 wickets. After the last 2 balls of his previous over, here he is on a hat-trick. Davey keeps it out and pushes it down the ground. Lee Carter on a sub-fielder. Does the fielding, Somerset tick on. 254 for 8. Looks like it's going to be a defeat, but that shouldn't take away, Peter, from the amazing start to the competition they've had.
Yeah, it doesn't detract from the good work that's been done. You aren't going to go through a whole qualifying series without the odd blip. It's absolutely fine. There'll be no panic. You know, Somerset will still be sitting pretty at the top, if not very near the top of the league. I mean, it's not the end of the world, like I just said. You know, providing you qualify and win the last game, that's all you really want.
Yeah, that's what they managed to do last year. Started with a couple of defeats last year. It's going to be the 4th loss in 17 games since then, so some run they're on.
Another one.
Another wicket falls. That's 4 wickets now from McCoy. What a great spell. His new club, 4 for 25. 5 for 25. Even better. 5 for 25. No, you can. I'm sure you can sense the disappointment in our voices here in the commentary box. I suppose we try and stay as objective as possible, but we're all Somerset fans here, and really disappointing to see the end of a really good run, but so many highlights from the day so far, in particular Riding Rousseau's performance. What a stunning knock that was, but the wheels have officially come off, and we are now 9 down for 154. At 216 is just a bit of a bridge too far. As you may have heard, Timmy G not realising that the technology will pick up the fact that he just whispered to me that he needs a pee. So it's fantastic that Timmy G has joined us. Tim Grunewald, one of my favourite teammates. If ever there was a fast bowler or a rain cloud around, Timmy G was the man you wanted to sit next to. Thanks for joining us. You're always welcome. We'll see you later on the season. Timmy Grunewald. 9 down. 158 for 9. It's the sort of stage of the game where you kind of feel like it's completely gone, but again, run rates, Charlie, run rates could play a part at some stage. You know, all these decimal points, so don't give it away.
It's funny, isn't it? Everyone focuses on run rates right at the end of the group stage, but actually you never really see teams worry too much about it at the start, but it makes a massive difference. Quite often there are teams tied on points, so it can make a huge difference. Home semi-final, quarter-final or not, qualification or not, you know, these are really worth getting these runs to try and reduce that run rate. Goldsworthy finding himself in a position he probably hasn't for a while, and at number 11, as that one gets over the boundary, he's scored a couple of fours now.
He's played a shot that was worthy of a number 1, not a number 11, so fair play to him. But, you know, I suppose Goldie's, slight of stature. He's probably not known for his big hit. He's more of a touch player, I guess. He showed his class there. He's certainly no number 11 in my books. He's actually a fantastic batter. So it's just Jason Kerr, throwing the big muscles up and trying to get some boundaries that were much needed at the time, but unfortunately hasn't come to fruition. But again, I think it's important that we keep reflecting on. It's been a great night's cricket. 2 brilliant teams in Somerset, still in pretty good shape in terms of the competition.
It was a big chase, it was a big ask, and wickets kept being chipped away, especially that run there of 5 very quick wickets. But actually, Somerset have not been outplayed as such in every department, have they? This hasn't been a complete thrashing by any means. It was there were a few moments Somerset will look back on and feel like maybe they could have done better.
Yeah, I wouldn't underestimate that. I feel like that last over was quite a big psychological blow. I mean, it does change the way that the Abel Rousseau period couldn't be as buildy as you'd like it to be. They still had to go boundary hunting as Josh Davies plays a superb cover drive off to Mal Mills, one of the quickest bowlers in the land. And Josh Davies sent that one to the Colin Atkinson Pavilion at a rate of knots. So quality player, like I said, everything to play for, bit of personal pride, bit of form. Can you take a little bit of scar tissue into the next game? We will play Sussex again at some stage. Can you just take a little bit of a moral victory away from this? And and again, I think really important to say that when you look at, you're trying to pick a winner out of for the Vitality Blast here, North and South group, it's hard. Everyone can beat everyone, and I'll tell you what. The ratio of 3 to 1, that's something. That's trophy-winning ratio, provided obviously you win that last game. So Somerset are in a great space. They look like they're playing really well. They've just come up against a very, very good Sussex team. They've played very well. Credit to them.
Yeah, some great bowling, some really good innings with the bat as well. They'll regret dropping Felipe, Marchant de Lange dropping off his own bowling. That'll be a moment they'll look back on. That last over as well, which went for plenty of runs, took them from what they were looking around 200 the whole way through. They're looking at 200, and then it suddenly got up to 216. And as you said, Pete,
well, you know why, don't you? You know why? Because I predicted, and it always goes wrong. Something always happens.
It looked perfect for so long in that prediction.
Yeah, nearly as good as well. Yeah, geography earlier. Absolute shambles. While Mills running in again to the last couple of overs, and his last bowl of the night tonight is Lewis Goldsworthy. Spooned that up to Ravi Bopara. That extra cover that finishes Somerset's innings, 169 all out. That 216 was just a bit too far away. Like I said, a massive psychological blow that last over, the way things went down there. Somerset, you can tell, I think, were knocked by that, and Sussex certainly took their confidence into their bowling performance. Even with Ryder Rousseau going, they still had that ability to sort of stay in control of the run rate.
Yeah, Rousseau's innings stand out among Somerset's batters. 169 all out in the end, and it's a defeat by 47 runs, which on paper looks big, but as we've said, that last over just widening that gap, psychologically making a difference as well, you feel. Somerset get a chance to bounce right back, though. They come thick and fast, don't they, back here at home on Friday, playing Glamorgan in the T20 Blast. So a chance to get back straight away.
All to play for, but it's worth reflecting. You know, sometimes you've got to credit, the opposition. Well, you have to, don't you? It's only right. 9 for 65 off the 8 overs between the two left armers, Sussex, McCoy and Mills. The M&Ms have got 9 for. I mean, it's an incredible stat, that, isn't it? Really. They are billed to be world-class performers, and they've certainly done the business tonight. And enough for Somerset. But yeah, we've got plenty to look forward to. It's been a great night here at the Cooper Associates County Ground. We've all enjoyed it. It's just a shame those last 5 overs have just fallen away.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're looking for enjoyment as far as cricket goes, we've seen some fantastic shots, some great bowling tonight. If you're a neutral or if you're looking for those moments, actually, it's been some rich entertainment. Disappointing Somerset on the losing side, but you can't win no one is going to win every single game in this T20 Blast. As Pete said, anyone can beat anyone. So do join us if you can. Next time, that's Friday night here, 6:30 start on that one, so we'll be on air about 5:45, something like that, bringing you all the build-up. Are you with us then, Pete, on
I certainly am. I'll be out there just before the start of play doing my pitch report.
Good stuff.
But looking at the way that Scott and his team are frantically sweeping up that wicket, there's a good chance we'll be on that one again.
So it could be another high scorer, and that'd be really exciting to watch. So we will be bringing you that very soon. We'll also hear from the Somerset captain, Tom Abel. He is going to be speaking to Robin in the dugouts just in front of the Andy Caddick Pavilion.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Yes, Tom Abel joins me now, the Somerset skipper. Tom, commiserations, first setback of the campaign. Where do you think it was won and lost tonight?
Probably sort of a bit of both, with the bat and the ball. Probably weren't quite at our best in all facets of the game. They obviously struck the ball really well. A few guys got in and sort of made big scores. And obviously we got off to a flying start with Riley playing an unbelievable knock up top and just sort of lost a bit of that momentum through the middle, and then obviously they executed really well at the death. So probably all 3 facets, I think they were better than us tonight.
They had a bit of late momentum in their innings, but did you still feel, given obviously you won 3 out of 3, that 217 was manageable?
Yeah, look, we were in a great place. We're really confident. We've chased really well. Of course, it was a few more than we would like to have been chasing, if we're honest. But we know it's a very fast-scoring ground, good wicket, relatively small boundaries, and we got off to a flyer with Riley playing some innings. Yeah, we obviously couldn't quite keep it up.
Yeah, let's touch a bit more on that innings. 74 from 29 doesn't really do it justice. Just to witness that level of composure, the clean striking of the ball, what did you make?
Just incredible. He's sort of taken us by storm, really, his first few innings. And tonight was just unbelievable. From ball one, sort of the way he sort of saw the ball and struck the ball was absolutely next level. So he's playing so well for us at the top, and having a guy like that in your top 3 is always going to hurt oppositions.
A few practice days before Glamorgan on Friday.
Yeah, we got tomorrow, so we probably need to touch up on a few areas. We'll be doing that for sure, and then obviously we've got to come back and make sure we put in a good performance against Glamorgan. As we say, we were 3 from 3. Obviously, it's a little setback, but we've got to try and arrest that and go again on Friday.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers, Tom. Tom Abel there, the Somerset captain, after tonight's defeat. But we hope to see plenty of you back on Friday for the visit of Glamorgan, which gets underway at 6:30 in the Vitality Blast. Thank you again for your fantastic support.
Yeah, honest assessment. as always, from Tom Abel as we watch some highlights. And as I was saying to Pete Trigo, there really was some great cricket on show. So thank you very much for being part of this tonight. Disappointing for Somerset, their first defeat of this T20 campaign, but it's been a great start, and they'll look to bounce straight back on Friday night, playing at Glamorgan here at the County Ground. We really hope you can join us for that one, whether it's in the stadium here or on the live stream, and we'll be giving away more prizes, your streaming style, your How's That Trade Nations as well in the break. So do join us then if you can. Disappointment for Somerset, but a great T20 night here under a sunny sky, and now the floodlights here at Taunton. So from me, Charlie Taylor, from Pete Trigo, from Sam Dowling, we also heard from Peter Siddle and from Tim Grunewald in a busy night here. It is good night, and we look forward to your company on Friday.
You just rated somebody asked me, I'm going to Smith. Where are you from? He's sponsored by Slash.